dragonborn conflicts, and because of him and his treachery, I lost basically my entire unit and almost my own life, and I am now only set on revenge and finding him and making him answer, if he's still alive, for his crimes, for his transgression.
And it's been a number of years since the war.
And it's been quite some time now where I'm getting, not like terribly old, but just because of the search and no results and just a very tired
and you're looking for other things to do too, which is why you decide to follow us, because it's like you can still look and still have your main goal in mind, but you have something that's happening.
That's always in the back of my mind. Is I want to find him, but it's now more or less just trying to get from point A to point B and surviving and being able to, pay for food and shelter. And it's gotten even harder, being on my own, so I decided to travel along with you two and hope that maybe along in our journeys I can find more details or what I need to find. I'm still trying to think of a name for him,
So in terms of cantrips from Howie, in terms of what you can expect, this is like a typical try to handle situations kind of thing. He's got Fireball as the standard attack. That's the standard, just bread and butter. Yep. Prestidigitation, so we'll be doing changing colors of things, changing flavors of things, trying to manipulate stuff. And then
muddy yourself up, clean yourself after.
Yeah, exactly. Like we killed this guy. Quick, just clean it. Okay, there's no blood. Look, he's just taking a nap. He's fine. And message. So we can communicate kind of,
Well, you can send a message and they can send one back.
Yes.
Yep.
But yes.
Awesome. So you have those. Except that's gotta go to Howie. So you got all those. Yeah, because I can see all of your stats, and I just have to, as you guys work on your things, I can just hit refresh and see what you guys have done and are doing. So plus I keep them up, that way I can see your armor classes and things as we do battle.
What armor class?
12.
You have a Dex mod, right?
16 and 18.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, if you see me, running and hiding in a fight, I'm not necessarily just running. I'm just, please don't hit me.
12, 12, and 8 hit points.
Yeah. I do have shield, though, so it's
You get a 1d10 hit die, don't you?
Yeah, but
don't
your Constitution modifiers are different.
Yeah.
That's why you both end up at the same hit points.
Well, and I also have Dwarven Fortitude, which gives me +1 every level.
That's right.
So
that's pretty solid.
I should be
ends up coming together.
Pretty close to Valthar for the entirety of this.
Thank you.
That seems like OP, and I'm trying to think, because obviously they have all different things for all different races. For humans, it's just you get the extra feet. That's right. Don't you get an extra feet? No.
You get a feat. No one else can get a feat at level 1 unless you homebrew the rules.
As the variant,
But it's what is it? You can choose +1 all stats or a feat.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is kind of strange though, because don't you get a plus bonus to your race, depending on the other races anyway?
The other races get a +1. The variant, the humans, either you get the +1 to everything,
or one trait.
And the reason why I think they do that is because you don't get dark vision or Fey ancestry or anything like that.
That's
so
true.
They kind of balanced it that way. The variant allows you to 2 stats by 1.
Oh wow,
and
that's
take
so nice.
a feat and take an extra language.
Wow.
Oh wait, that would have been cool.
Gosh.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I'm sure we can make this on the fly too.
Yeah.
So let's get into the gameplay.
So let us
Yeah, because if that's an option, we'll talk about that.
So let's see where we're at. Where did it go? All right. So where's my world map? So you guys can see. No, that's fine. Just don't clang pans around all.
If you're going to be making a...
So in our world and the world's actually called Sharwin, but we can just call it Earth for now. So this is the world as you know it. Most of you know the basic layout of the world. You don't know where every city is, but you know the main continents and kind of what's on them. The continent you guys are currently on is Grenmar. The continent Grenmar. And you guys are pretty much the very south end. If you look on the map here, there's a chain of islands that go right down the bottom. That is the Black Rock Fjord. So, the Black Rock Fjord and the city of Fengrim city of Fangrim basically takes up the entirety of all those chain of islands. It's a big kind of city per se, but it's surrounded on all of these little islands.
Are they connected by like bridges or anything like that?
Yes, there are.
That's
some.
cool.
Yeah. So, in the Blackrock Fjord in the city of Fangrim, it has been long. It has long been in battle, but a recent truce, approximately 15 years ago, has brought a semi-peace to the region. The other races in the world are largely unaware and believe that Dragonborn are more of a myth than an actual thriving race. The Dragonborn Council has outlawed the venturing of Dragonborn beyond the Shadow Marsh to the north, until there is a long-lasting treaty of peace in place. The militia, consisting of the Gold and Red Dragonborn from both sides, keep the peace between the two sides, though the city and the island still crawl with mercenaries and bandits who are ready to do anything for a quick coin or two. So, just about the Blackrock Fjord in particular, just 6 miles off the southern coast, it's a long chain of towering rocky islands. Each island is several hundred feet high and approximately 1,000 feet wide, though each island varies in height and width. Many centuries ago, construction of these towering islands created a thriving city of Dragonborn of every kind, mixing and mingling. They even mingled among other races and traded information, culture, and to some, the finest herbs and spices that could be found in the world. Then the great calamity between the Dragonborn wizards and the evil human wizard, Thraxim Shamar. You want me to spell that?
As a
Thraxim, Thraxim, Thraxim Shamar, Shaymar, Thraxim Shamar, who is bent on making the Dragonborn bow to him. Only through the combined efforts of the Cobalt Sanctum wizards and sorcerers, which comes from the city of Fangrim, there is a large kind of conglomerate library, study, college, if you will. Through the combined efforts of these, they were able to defeat this evil human wizard, although it did cost the demise and decimation of the land of the halflings, and created what is now known as the Shadow Marsh Swamp. And in doing so, the wizards, to protect their land, the Dragonborns to protect their land, they together cast a almost like a wall of stone spell, but they all did it together and were able to create the
the mountain, right? You said
the
it was
mountain
like
range.
that goes
There's
up,
a
and then it's a
sheer-
cliff on the other
yeah,
side,
yeah,
so
on
you
the
can't
north
see it from
side-
the other side.
On the north side, it's just this sheer cliff. It looks like a giant wall, but from the other side, it looks like a normal mountain range. And so they were able to create this large area. And so you guys, having been in the area, it's, there's a relative peace. You've been in and out of the city, it's mostly in order to get to the city, you either have to go way down through the south end or way through the north end. And it's between all the different little islands, because there's the main islands, and then there's little pieces that pop up here and there, where there's little, fishing shanties where, fishermen have on these small islands and they go out and fish, and etc. But basically between between Fangrim and the mainland, there's about a 6-mile swath of ocean. So when you're on the islands, it's really, really hard. Unless you're on the top of the island, it's really hard to see the mainland. So you almost feel like you're out in the middle of the ocean, but you're not actually. So most of the travel into Fangrim comes by boats, in and out from 2 main cities. One is where is it? The city of Everfall, near the north end, and near the south end, the city of Southbreak. And these two are kind of two of the main cities, if you will. They're not nearly as big as Fangrim is, obviously, but they do provide trade and agricultural stuff to the region. Since there's not a whole lot of land to grow things on these islands, they are supported by these imports, if you will, from the mainland. So,
and you said Everfall and Southbreak are on islands, right?
No, they're on the mainland.
They're on the mainland. Okay.
So the fjord kind of goes like this, and Everfall's on the north end, and Southbreak's near the south.
And are those primarily Dragonborn?
Primarily, this whole region. I'll give you the stats on it for Fangrim. Basic stats. The population now, after all the battle and everything, the population's about 36,000 people of different races. Mostly 95% Dragonborn, 2% gnome, 1% human, 1% dwarf, and a few miscellaneous. Like every once in a while, you'll see like a tiefling, or any number of different types. You occasionally see an Aasimar or a Genasi or different things like that. It's very, except for the
No elves, or elves shunned.
Not pretty much.
Oh, all right.
They and for the most part, they don't know that you're there. There are a few older elves that have been around long enough they do remember, but they don't talk about it because of the calamity that happened.
Well, my guy is human, just for the...
Yeah, you are human.
Yeah.
But it's not like humans are shunned because of what happened. It's, granted, if you were ever around and, talked about it and they knew the fact that you were a human wizard and all of that, there may come some suspicion possibly down the road. But
how do they feel about other magic casters like sorcerers or clerics?
There's a good variety in the city, so it's not a huge deal. And the fact that you're a dwarf, they really don't care.
Yeah.
The Dragonborn tend, for the most part, not all of them, but for the most part, Dragonborns tend to think of themselves as a higher race.
Yeah.
So they just really don't care for the most part. Obviously, not everyone feels that way, and they're starting to earn trust with some of the other races and know how they do.
So you mentioned that currently there's a war between the humans and the goblins.
Yeah, on the north end of the continent, the north end, right up here in Grenmar, right here and across the Searing Channel, I think is what I named it. The Searing Channel is, and right into the bottom part of Listrin here, there's been a goblin war going on for probably 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And the humans have a temporary alliance with the gnomes to help them fight that. The elves are staying totally out of it.
The dwarves come from north of there, right?
The dwarves come from this mountain range right here, and they've kind of abstained. They're like Switzerland. They're like, nope, we're not getting involved unless they come to our doorstep. We're not getting involved.
But we'll hold all your money.
And they really don't. Yeah, they really don't care all that much because they feel safe in their underground fortress, basically.
Does any of that information make it down to Fengrim?
On occasion, there's things because people, like I said, the Dragonborns aren't really allowed to go above the Shadow Marsh. The Shadow Marsh is hundreds, if not almost 1,000 miles in breadth and width. It takes several days to
And
cross.
there's nothing there, right?
Yeah, and it's just a swamp, marshy, kind of like the dead marshes in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's just this decimated, swampy, boggy area. Occasionally you'll see an old tree that's mangled and black, but for the most part it's just, and you both have kind of seen it because you've made your way down from Listrin down into Grenmar. And most humans consider it crazy to go through the Shadow Marsh.
Did we get Wi-Fi? I think for spells it'll be really easy for me to...
If you go to the
So-
Jones Wi-Fi.
Mine just kept spinning. It never really connected, so I wonder if it's just my thing or not. I just ended up using my mobile Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
And what was the key?
It's the word Lydia, but with a capital L. Lydia 2012. Honey, is the Wi-Fi Lydia 2012 or Lydia dot 2012? Oh, dot. There you go.
You might want to
So
change it
Lydia
after you
dot
have this on
2012.
recording.
It's okay. Only people that are going to see it are you guys, because I take this and then I take a picture and then I put the recording on YouTube, so you guys can have all the sessions and everything.
Cool.
So
That's fun.
that's kind of why I'm doing it, because then you guys can go back and be like, wow, I can't remember what happened. And you guys can go back and look at it. So.
It's always a fun experiment listening to yourself talk in the past.
Oh,
So again,
man, I can't
Fengrim
stand
is-
my voice.
Considered the capital?
Yes.
Okay.
It is for all intents and purposes, the Dragonborn capital, and where probably 90% of the Dragonborn live.
Yeah.
There's some that live outside on those other towns and in towns around, but for the most part, it's Dragonborn.
And you can find both chromatic and metallic there.
Yeah, they tend to have divided a bit, but
Sure,
there is a
sure.
mixing. There's kind of the settlements of where they live. They kind of the different colors and metallics have kind of grouped together on particular islands, but there is a mixing from trade and different things, and shops and commerce, etc.
Right, just trying to at least appear normal life, and there's no underlying tension.
There's a council that means it's a kind of a common council, and there's a dragonborn that represents each of the colors and metallics of each of the parts of the dragonborn.
Now, from the basic communities, how do they see the council? Is it like they're well respected, or is it kind of like, oh, they're politically corrupt and like what's
it's more of because they were kind of chosen by their group of people. They each one decided how they were going to assign a person to go there. Some of them it was more of a vote. Some it was more of somebody volunteered. But for the most part, it's considered a peaceful council, and people really want the peace to work. But there's a lot of arguing about the logistics and semantics of putting out a treaty and what they get and what they don't get, and a lot of banter back and forth. And it's been a long time working, and for the most part, the talking about the treaty by itself has kind of stopped. But they work as a council to resolve, major issues in the city.
If anything, they probably have more to say about the other leaders than their own leader.
Pretty much.
Just because of their allegiance to their own leader.
Yeah, and for the most part, the city thrives per se, but it's been a little bit stifled because of the lack of trade between the other races. Because of the calamity and then the war, etc. So they produce nearly everything in the region around it. There's very few things that come from like the Gnomish Empire over. Only occasionally will there be a large vessel or something that will come and have trade goods. So, but for the most part, everything, because it's a very lush, almost volcanic soil type of area. Things grow very easily.
Abundantly.
Say that again.
Abundantly.
Yes, very abundantly. So crops never seem to have problems growing. The harvest, you don't really have drought. There's a pretty good constant flow of sun and rain that just goes in and out with the normal kind of, it's not necessarily seasons, but it's just kind of a constant state of always getting green and lush and watered.
Now, you mentioned how like lack of trade with other races is stifling. Like, are there like interests in, for example, kind of items from other races in terms of culture, like cultural things, like here's like a rug, like that's like made by humans, and it's like a very traditional human style rug. Is that kind of
not
is
as
it like
much.
that? Okay, all right.
Not as much. It's more of it's stifled in the fact that they don't get those imports, and they don't really export anything. So everything is kind of handmade there. So like you would be really hard to find like an elvish longsword or something in town. You could find very much some of the other things like dwarvish weapons because they have dwarves that live there. There's blacksmiths and different things that have made their way down there and kind of have made their own life there and are able to use some of the particular skill set that they have to create a life. So, with that, any other questions about region, city, or otherwise that you'd like to know?
Could we even do something like a pretense add flavor, and it's up to you, to a thing where, like, for example, what my character would like to do, let's say we, depending on where we are when we start, if we are like in a town, wherever, or even on an adventure, whatever we're doing, if my character had time in town to kind of do some stuff, he would be kind of gathering up as much information as he can about the people and stuff to try to figure out like how to make money in the area, and he'd probably want to get his hands on a few Dragonborn made items, even of common stuff, to get an idea of what they like.
Gotcha.
Is there even a way, like,
we could work that as we go along. Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So as you have downtime in between stuff when you're in the city,
exactly.
Getting supplies, resting, things like that. And kind of in between adventures, there's definitely time for that, and we'll do some of those where it's like for the next, between this session and the next session, we'll say 2 weeks has gone by, and so you guys can choose what you want to do during those 2 weeks. Whether it's training, whether it's, and a lot of those times when you're in town, it'll be like in between when you're leveling up, and so you'll be able to do, get all that stuff, because I know there's some rules out there that I've seen where you have to be in town to level up. Like you have to go find someone to train you in the next
I
level
really
up.
like that. I thought about implementing that myself. Yeah.
Yeah. The hard part about that is that you also have to implement, as part of it is it costs you to do that. You have to find the trainer and then be able to pay for it.
Your 9th level spell, 480,000 gold to copy that into your spell book. I looked that
Or
up.
like you have to really convince.
Unless you're proficient. Then 240,000.
And then
And even then,
there's problems that can erupt, like someone comes in and steals the page from your book.
possibly. But, stuff like that where you can go into, some of the libraries, libraries and reserves that they have of some of the old records and things. But it'll be something where, like, you're going to have to earn somebody's trust and, get to know them or do something for them where they will then trust you to go down into the lower archives and into the restricted section and things like that to get some of the other pieces that you may be looking for.
One thing I would be interested in is not to get into the class system of the Dragonborn a lot, but one of the things that my character cares a lot about is as I've traveled, I've seen lots of poverty everywhere, and because I am a religious person and I go around and my living is to kind of officiate for these people. I've kind of taken it as part of my creed or my goal to try and help those out who are destitute. And so as among the Dragonborn, are they people who take care of their poor, or
Yeah, that's a good
is
question.
it
They try to as much as they can, but with limited economy and trade, they
war.
tend to try and support each other in what means they can. But it's not like there's most cities there isn't one really rich person and then poor people. It's everybody seems to be at the same economic level for the most part, because there isn't one overarching government or lord over the area. There's different things, there's leaders of the militia and things in different towns that it's just a common person who's kind of taken the job of doing that. Some of them have training, some of them don't. But for the most part, it's, they're all kind of on the same economic level. They're not super poor, but it's not like they're super rich either.
Now, are there any known Dragonborn, let's say, guilds in a sense, that are causing trouble? I know I'm kind of asking this, we should be asking this to an NPC, but walking around, have we heard anything?
Yeah,
possibly?
we'll just call this the when you guys have been, going through the city, getting your equipment and
up to this point, this is what we've determined.
been doing. For the most part, there seems to be. I haven't really written this in, so this is going to kind of be off the cuff a little bit. But as I thought about it, there would probably be.
Then this is where we want to go. What he says right here, this is what we want to focus on right here.
Probably 2 to 3 different guilds or groups, organizations, if you will. One of the obviously one would be mostly chromatics, and the other would be kind of a base in the metallics. So there's kind of a division there. But then there's also one that's more of a, for lack of a better term, like the White Lotus from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So it's a group mashing of people who are open to the peace and exchanging culture and things like that. So, and that one's more exclusive than the other two, because they're very picky about who comes in, because they don't want people infiltrating it and causing problems and different things. So you kind of have to earn your way in.
These are in a good light.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. There's 1 or 2 groups that are kind of the underbelly, who kind of do black market trading stuff that you wouldn't necessarily want to mess with, but for that, yes. You're just listening. Okay.
Just one quick question:
When you never get to start.
Are there any worshippers of Tyr, or do they have a specific set of gods that they worship?
That's good.
I mean, that's important to me.
I don't know right now.
We'll find that out. We'll discover.
Not that you have
The
noticed
immersion is broken.
I will do some thinking and writing about that and see what
Hard-hitting questions here tonight.
I mean, there would probably be.
You'd probably
You'd probably be able to find a group of people who, worship Tyr and, or how do you say it? Tyr.
Tyr. I think it's Tyr.
I would say Tyr.
It's Tyr.
Oh, Ty. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Tyr.
yeah.
Tyr.
I would still say Tyr, right?
But I can still what is it called in the book? I can still serve other people who are up from other gods. I'm just
for the most part, the people are more of the religious part of worship is more. I mean, obviously for clerics and things like that, it's very much a connection with the deity.
Yeah.
For most people, it's just living by the values that that god kind of bestows upon the world and understanding that and going, we're all about craftsmanship, trade, and the other one, and there are the bad gods like Tiamat where, people are all about, destruction and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
So I'll do some writing about that. Okay. Creating a whole world is very hard.
I would
I can imagine. Yeah.
So, you guys have spent some time in Fangrim and have journeyed across the fjord, taken a boat or however you get across to the north shore because you're a metallic, right? You're a gold, right? Gold metallic. You have gone to north because the metallics tend to be on the north end and the chromatics tend to be on the south end of the fjord. So as you make your way up, you come to the city of Everfall on the north end. In the city of Everfall on the north shore of the fjord, a dwarf named Gundren Rockseeker, who you are familiar with, you've made friends with him in the past, has asked you to bring a wagon load of provisions to a rough and tumble settlement of Phandalin.
What was his name? Gundren
Rockseeker. Gundren. Gundren Rockseeker. And Rockseeker's just like you'd spell it. And he's asked you to bring a wagon load of provisions to Phandalin, which is a couple of days' travel to the northwest of the city, towards the Cliffkeep Mountains. That's the name of them. I knew as soon as I write them. As soon as I started talking, I'd remember. So, towards the Cliffkeep Mountains. Gundren was clearly very excited, more than a little secretive about his reasons for the trip going north, saying only that he and his other brothers, not physical brothers, but like group brothers, had found something big. And that he would pay each of you 20 gold pieces each for escorting his supplies safely to the Barthen's Provisions trading post in Phandalin.
What was the name of it?
Barthen's Provisions. Barthen. Barthen's Provisions. A trading post in Phandalin. He then set out ahead of you on horseback, along with a warrior escort named Sildren Springman. Sildrin. Sildren Springman.
So it is a human? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't write what race he is.
See, you don't say that. That's
We'll
when you make up
call
on the
him-
fly.
I'm going to say he's Dragonborn.
All right.
Springman. Dragonborn.
Get off Springman.
Not as large of a Dragonborn.
No, I'm just...
I am
But-
Springman.
he doesn't come from an old family. Get off his case.
Very, very lithe, very, very dexterous Dragonborn. Probably most likely looking at him, he's probably a fighter who, uses very quick daggers, almost roguish warrior. So he goes off with this warrior escort named Sildren, claiming he needed to arrive early to take care of some business in town. So you spent the last few days...
Phandalin, because we're going northwest, you said. Is that on the mainland?
Yeah, it's all on the mainland.
Okay.
The fjord, all the islands are part of Fangrim. So if you're on the island, you're in Fangrim. If you're on the mainland, there's different cities throughout on that southern part.
Wow, I forgot to turn off my Skype. Here I am getting like work Skype. All right, hey, can I do this?
No, shut up. Leave me alone.
It's not
Yeah,
letting me-
I turned off my
Please,
stuff from work.
sign
I'm like,
out,
it's
turn
the
it off.
weekend. I have D&D.
Go away.
I'm not answering anything.
So, go ahead.
So these supplies, is it just the three of us, or are we escorting like another
No, you have
colleague of
the
his?
supply wagons, and I can tell you as to what is in said wagon. Where did it go? Where did it go? I deleted. Okay, I'll go.
And you said we're on the islands going to the mainland?
No, you're already on
Okay.
the mainland. You're in Everfall. You're in Everfall. He contracted you to bring the supplies up because he couldn't take them. He needed to go ahead and do business, and he knew you guys. Well, he knew Tetrius. And so he hired you guys and said, I'll pay each of you 20 gold pieces apiece to bring these supplies up along the Wing Rim Road Trail that goes north to. It kind of makes for you guys from here. So there's Everfall, the fjord's down here. You're in Everfall, and it kind of goes up along the coast this way to Phandalin.
Oh, so we're going around this way?
Excuse me, sorry.
We're going this way.
For you guys,
Yeah,
so the fjord goes this way.
Yeah.
You're right up here at the top. The kind of waters here.
The island chain.
And it kind of goes up here, and the Cliffkeep Mountains are way up here.
All right, cool.
So, I'm going to get you guys a more detailed map than this little tiny one.
Yeah.
That way you guys can see where stuff is, and we'll add cities and things as I put them in. So, where'd it go?
And what do we know about Phandalin?
What do you know about Phandalin?
What do I know about
What does
You
he
thought,
know about
are you
Phandalin?
talking about Gundren? Are you thinking
Or
Gundren?
were
No,
you
the
asking
place
about
that we're going
the
to.
place?
Make an
Oh.
intelligence check, each of you, to see what you know about it. What you think about it. None of you have
Oh,
actually
I know nothing.
None of you have ever
Nothing.
been there, but you may have heard things about it.
I'm going to make a wild guess.
I actually rolled a 0 because I have a -1 on intelligence.
I don't
Natural
know
one
anything.
with a
This is
negative
gonna be
one.
like
I don't know much either. I have a 2.
8.
You were just all like,
You're not
man,
familiar.
fighting is
It's-
my best thing.
It's not a big city. About the most he can recall is it. You've heard about it. It's not a big city. It's more of just a small town. But there tends to be more humans in that area than there are Dragonborn. It's kind of a settlement of sorts where some humans have kind of conglomerated together.
All right.
So I would imagine, since I know Gundren
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, like as dwarves are wont to do, we probably got talking over a mug of ale or something like that.
Of course. Yep.
And then as the conversation would probably naturally progress, it would be like, so what kind of craftsman are you?
Mm-hmm.
So what would I know of what Gundren does? What is his trade?
He deals in more of like getting things for people and getting information.
Acquisition?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. He's more of a almost a I wouldn't say a smuggler, but he deals in secrets, information, and getting things for people when they need it, and doing it in a way so that
He deals in favors.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
All right.
So,
Okay. So what I know is, like, I guess what I'm looking for with this question is like alignment. Like, what kind of person is he? Is he like is he the kind of person who would take a job to like?
He's more about getting coin in his pocket.
Really? So it's just
Businessman.
like
Yeah,
doesn't matter
he
what
wants
it
to
is.
Survive. He wants to be on the richer side
Yeah.
of the economy.
Mhm.
He doesn't want to struggle, and so he's kind of created this business, if you will,
Yeah.
of helping people find things, getting information. You know, he's about like with you guys about being able to say, okay, I have a job for you guys. I'll pay you this much in order to do this.
Mhm.
When in fact he's been hired by somebody else who's paying him more than that in order to do something.
Yeah.
So, you know, like not necessarily saying this would be something, but like going and doing a rescue or an assassination of somebody or something like that, where it's a dirty job and he doesn't want to get his hands dirty in it. But for the most part, he doesn't deal in that, but he wouldn't be above it.
He prioritizes
Now,
in
Yeah,
his
so
own
he would
interests
be-
above other people's.
So in as far as alignment goes, he would be a chaotic neutral character.
Yeah.
Kind of does things for his own interests. Really has his own interest at heart, but he's not evil.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He's not gonna like kick
Yeah.
a puppy just because he can.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know. I mean, chaotic control.
Well, someone's like, "Here's a gold piece to kick a puppy," then he'll kick the puppy.
It's a government. For me, it's like it's a government
you could
puppy.
just do anything on a whim. You could just decide to do something.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You were saying he's kind of part of a group. You said.
Organization.
Okay.
Kind of his own business, but he deals with not really the total underbelly, but he has contacts, different things in different organizations where he can get information.
What can I'd ask him about kind of recruiting in general? Like where did he get recruited, and where are the newest recruits usually at?
With the limited time that you guys had with him, because he kind of found you guys together after a while, because you had known him from past and things of dealing with him before you guys had found, before you had found these two others. But with the limited time you had while he was discussing the business of what he needed done, you asked him a few questions. He was kind of vague on it. He didn't really want to reveal all of his information.
If you know how to work the stock market, you don't tell people how to work the stock
Make
market.
a persuasion roll.
Okay.
Just to see how willing he is to open up.
That's going to be nothing 8. That way, unless it's a persuasion, right?
Persuasion.
Just add my combo on there, so it's 6, 7, 8. Oh, but I'm not even proficient. Yes,
So
it's 8.
plus 2, yeah, so 8. He's not really open about it. He said most of the people where they get their organization people is in Fengram. So that's kind of because it is not totally, there's not a police system in place. The gold and red dragonborns just keep it from getting into total anarchy. You know, they'll break up a fight, you know, things like that, but they're not going to like police. There's not a whole set of laws and rules that people have to follow.
Cool.
It's just kind of make sure people don't kill each other kind of thing. You know, keep the peace. So that's kind of what you learn beforehand. So you take this cart full of supplies, and for the most part, the wagon is packed full of an assortment of mining supplies and food. This includes a dozen sacks of flour, several casks of salted pork, 2 kegs of strong ale, shovels, picks, and crowbars, about a dozen of each, and 5 lanterns with a small barrel of oil, about 50 flasks worth in volume. The total value of the whole cargo in general is 100 gold pieces. So it's not a huge amount. It is pulled by 2 oxen, so it's a fairly slow moving cart. It'll probably take you a couple days just to get there, as opposed to riding on horseback, which is just 1 full day's ride to the northwest for you guys. I have to remember to reverse my directions when I'm talking to you guys, otherwise it'll really confuse you.
So there are people along with us guarding this wagon, right? It's not just us.
No,
it's
just
just us.
us.
Okay.
Yeah, just us.
I thought
and,
I thought I'd heard that a different way.
wing room. Yeah, just us
Is,
and wing
yeah,
room.
is this trail like popular? Is it a lot of people are passing
it's
by?
not hugely traveled. It's not a main road, but it's not a road that isn't like there is
off
a
the beaten
definite
path.
There is a definite
Right.
path.
The
you know,
oxen will make it where we don't have
Yeah.
to pull the oxen through
yeah,
like,
exactly.
streams. And,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's clear enough that
It's
they,
not the
they follow
Oregon
it.
Trail.
Yeah. So let's see. The only thing I need for as we're coming up is to know who's doing what. One of you has to drive the cart, and the other 2 you can be wherever you want, in front, behind, wherever you want. I just need to know who's where.
I would probably leave the driving to someone else, as I would probably just be on guard the whole time.
I'll drive.
Okay.
I'm like, this sounds like fun. I just try my eyes, start driving.
I mean, I do have
There's
animal handling.
there's no check to do it. They're easy enough oxen.
Okay.
You just kind of go, yeah, and they start walking.
Oh, I go, yeah.
Okay, and so
I'll be in the cart with him, just because I figure being in the cart would put me above 4 feet above the ground, and so I'd be able to see more.
okay.
Now,
so the 2 of
so
you can fit
so is there like a wagoner's bench like in the front of the
basically
cart?
at the front. It's very small. It's enough that you can both sit.
It's
there,
not
but-
covered though, is it?
No,
None of
not
it's covered.
There's kind of a tarp, if you will.
Sure, over the supplies.
So if it rains, that kind
Okay.
of thing. But it's just a real basic cart.
Did they
Nothing
give us
special
any?
about it.
Did they give us any supplies? Like even just like a mess kits, bedrolls, anything like that? I'm just curious because I know my character doesn't even have anything like that at all. So, out of curiosity. Or do you want to just not get into it? Just like let's move on.
You guys have stuff to
Cool.
you know. If you had to make camp for the night, you make camp and
Cool.
you make do. You have enough survival skills traveling that you know how to take care of yourself in the evenings. And I'm not going to worry too much about like food every day and things like that. I'm not going to worry too much about that. The only time I would ever worry about like that is if you're like crossing the Shadow Marsh, if you guys ever go up that way. Things like that, of knowing that you guys have enough food to get there.
To the Shadow Marsh. Yeah, yeah.
We're going to go up the Cliffkeep Mountains and
We've
jump.
got some barrels of ale.
Go oxen, go. I cast fly on just me.
So, where would you be then?
Um,
Front, behind, next
I mean,
to them?
would it be easy enough to sit
It's
like
easy
on the
enough to-
supplies
It's
without damaging them, or should I just? Would it just be?
it would probably be easier to like
be
walk
walking along
alongside.
it.
It's,
Okay.
The oxen goes slow enough. You walk faster.
That
than
would
they
be
You're
do.
looking
fine.
for some exercise.
You walk faster than
Well,
they do.
I would just
so-
want to. I would want to be able to see all around as opposed to having a cart in my way on one side and we get ambushed from that side. But I figure you guys are capable enough to in our
You
travels.
probably stand above the cart, whereas I
That's
don't.
true. I'll probably just be alongside the cart.
Okay. So I'll just say you're kind of to the right of the cart then.
Yeah, I'll be on the right
Okay,
side.
So we got about here. Okay. So as you you spent the last few days. Oh, let's see. Wait, hold on. So you spent the last couple days following the road west from Everfall.
However long as I'm sure I can do this, just for fun, I add like a, like, can I even do that? I don't know.
What are you wanting to do?
For fun, like add like a little flame hats to the oxen, make them look kind of like we got a. I'm trying to think of a fun way to use prestidigitation. So it was like we run into anything. We're not just whatever. Automatically, you got to have at least preemptively if some there people are waiting to ambush.
You have to know.
Have them make
up.
think. Wait, maybe we should check it out. Wait, what are those? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I'd say using prestidigitation.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
You might be able to like make the illusion that their skin is a different color.
Yeah,
like they're odd in color.
Or I can make their eyes like kind of bright, right, or something like that. Like I make them look a little bit more menacing.
The oxen.
Out of the
not any of us.
Out of the norm.
No, not us. Just the oxen.
I don't. Those guys look like wimps, but the oxen. I can't take that.
He's been smoking his pipe a lot. He's kind of like he's very lightheaded. He's woo. He's like the oxen.
It's a long journey.
Yeah, so like one of the things it says in the I was reading the
actual
stuff,
right.
you can make a color or small mark or symbol appear on an object or surface. So like you could put a mark on the side of the oxen as you're going along and kind of hold it. When you
I put skull and crossbones on the side of the oxen.
Okay.
Do we have maps of this area? Like, would we have had a map at some point of?
If you wanted to get one, you could, but it's a fairly familiar area. You don't really need to know a whole lot as far as having a detailed map.
I mean, I figured if anyone would, it'd be you.
Well, I was thinking about if like we didn't have access to it, I would probably be like mapping your using my cartographer.
Yeah.
Making a map while I'm doing this.
And that's kind of what I was thinking, because you'd probably be keeping track of places of interest for yourself.
Yeah, like if I see some like a cave or somewhere there might be a cave in the distance, I'm marking it on the map. I'm also marking like points of interests or like waystones along the way.
Possibly, yeah. You can definitely do that.
I'll also use my third instance of prestidigitation to actually I'm holding like a telescope, a little pyroscope, kind of like a tiny one. Even though it's like because it doesn't actually work, so and I can't even see in it, but it just kind of makes it look like look, see, we can see you, we can probably see you. You better
constantly.
You better not try anything funny. We can see you with my magic thing.
So you're
that doesn't
going
actually
along,
work.
you're holding the reins, and you're just kind of like, ugh.
Yep. And I got
doing
my
some fun little magic on the side and using your cantrips to do different things. Messing with both of them with your message spell, going, hey.
What was that?
So, let me go back to my notes here.
Safety.
So you spent the last few days.
You're behind the car, right?
Traveling on the road west, and you just recently veered kind of north. It kind of has turned north along the Wingrim Trail. You've encountered no trouble so far, but you kind of know the territory can be a little dangerous. There's bandits and things around. An outlaw has been known to lurk on the trail and around the trail on occasion.
I would at least. Where is Wingrim?
Wingrim is the name of the trail that goes.
Oh no, Wingrim. I'm sorry. Sildren. Springman.
He went with Gundren.
Oh, I thought he was with us.
No, it's just us.
Oh, okay.
The
right,
two of them took off on horseback.
Oh, okay.
Sildren was.
I thought we got the warrior. I thought he was coming with us.
No, he was the escort for Gundren.
We don't need no dragonborn with us, shifty-eyed creatures.
So as you turn north, you spend the evening one night there, and then you spend about the next half day traveling north. As you come around a bend in the trail, you see ahead of you two dead horses sprawled about 50 feet ahead of you, blocking the path. Each has several black feathered arrows sticking out of it, and the woods in this area press real close to the trail, so it's not a huge wide area before the tree line. So it tends to be fairly close. The woods press close here with a steep embankment and dense thicket on either side.
How ominous do the woods? Are the woods like you get a sense of like horrible monsters live there, or like maybe some funny business, but
it's just an average forest.
Cool.
There's nothing necessarily funny other than it's a little denser than normal.
Cool.
So I'll say stop the cart.
Okay.
So
I go, no, wait, no, and I stop and then I pull on the reins.
Yeah. So they're about 50 feet ahead of you.
All right.
Is there any distinguishable features about the arrows, or?
Just that they are a black feathered arrow. You're not close enough really to make out much more than that.
I like obnoxiously like take my pipe like kind of out of my mouth and I go, I got a bad feeling on this one.
Well, we're all dead.
Are the horses like blocking the path, or
Like they're laying dead in the path.
in the path? Okay.
In the path. And it's only really the path's really only wide enough for basically one cart to go down it. And it's not meant for double way travel. Like if you actually pass somebody, you would have to kind of pull around each other, kind of a thing.
How far is it like that? Like how?
A majority of the trail, as you get closer to the city, it widens out. But for the most part, for the last day or so, it's been fairly thin trail.
Oh, okay.
It's not super wide.
So I'll hop down off the cart. Did you mention what time of day it was? It's
about
like
midday.
Midday? Okay.
So the sun's high, not a whole lot of clouds in the sky. It's, fairly warm, average day.
So
What season are we in? Just
for the most part, this area tends to stay in a state of mostly spring and summer weather. It's like being in the southern hemisphere of, Australia.
Sure.
They have a wet season and a dry season.
Okay.
And during the wet season, it rains more often than when it rains in the dry season.
Right.
And that's about it. The weather temperature tends to stay the same. It doesn't get real cold.
I'll ready my shield and
and as far as that's concerned, you've never seen snow. You've never traveled far enough anywhere to see snow. You don't know what it is.
Cool.
You might, from your past, like when you were a kid growing up, you might remember being from the Dwarvish Empire. You would know because you've seen it on the tops of the mountains.
Yeah.
You would know what it is.
So I'm going to kind of almost pull out of my back pocket and kind of just like comes out of nowhere. Someone familiar. I'm just gonna throw him out there.
Okay.
Because we talk about right where it's like I got.
What does your familiar take form of?
Fox.
A fox.
And
Okay.
he's gonna start going to the left side. Go up. I'm gonna tell him kind of go up into the woods and look through its eyes and start scouring around through the woods on the left side.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I ready my shield, my warhammer, and I'm gonna walk up to the horses, and I'm checking like actively for something like footprints or
Okay. Make investigation check.
investigation.
I'll probably be getting my great sword as well.
You
but
get down off the cart. You're still on the cart, but you're familiar with what's going on.
and I can't see anything.
Yeah, you're blind and deaf.
do I
while
know
you're
that
doing
you're doing that?
You may have seen him do it once before, and when he does it, he can talk, but
But
he can't hear you.
right.
He can't see you.
No.
Okay.
He
I'll
basically-
probably stay with the cart and him.
Okay.
Because if I know that he's doing that, I know he's pretty much defenseless.
Okay.
But I will ready my
And I
great
just
sword.
did it sitting there. I didn't even think to like take cover or anything. I just decided, this is
Well,
probably a good place.
I
and
figure
I'm
if he's
sitting up
gonna-
straight like right there.
Yeah, if he's gonna go up, I'll stay with the cart and him, but keep an eye on him.
I rolled a 6 for my investigation check.
6. From what
Don't know
can
where you
see,
are.
It's hard to tell because of the horse tracks, and as you've been traveling, you've seen a couple people go in the opposite direction. Nobody's really like come up and passed you or anything, but you've seen a few other people coming the other direction. You can't really make out any particular tracks in particular. You're not really good at tracking. But as far as the horses go, you see they still have their saddlebags, but they've been totally looted. They're pulled apart, empty. And nearby one of the horses lies an empty leather map case, about yay long, but it's totally open and it's empty. As you go and you pick it up and you look at it, it's an empty leather case, map case. So could be good for like putting your
Yeah.
maps in.
I'll take it.
Could
Okay. So you take it, stick it in your pack. Okay.
with animal handling, would I be able to like kind of determine the tracks on the trail at all? Like,
It would be a survival check.
Oh, that's
if you
more
wanted
survival.
if you wanted to go up and look where he's looking.
well, I just wanted to see if there were, if I could determine the tracks for where those horses, if they came from this direction at least.
Yes, and as you come up, you recognize these are the two horses that Gundren and Sildren took off on.
That's not good.
Do you vocalize then?
Yes, I will make those around aware. Well, at least you.
There's no sign of like blood on the ground. There's no like blood on the ground.
Struggle?
But there was definitely a struggle of some kind, and the arrows. There's 3 or 4 arrows in the side of each of the horses.
Are there tracks other than horse tracks?
There are some other tracks, but you don't recognize them.
But I just know that they're not horse tracks.
Yeah, they're feet.
Where do the tracks lead?
Kind of in all different directions. It looks
Different
like.
directions.
Does the fox find anything to add to the direction of?
Make a perception check for the fox. Just using your perception.
I was going to say perception or investigation. Which one do you want to use? I only asked just because like his investigation is way better.
I guess the question is, are you having him look for something in
Yeah,
particular?
that's true. Yeah, what is he looking for exactly? So the fox will be sniffing around because I'm assuming you can still smell, and I can even smell through the fox. So I'll be trying to sniff around, looking for tracks in general, looking for any immediate signs of danger. Do you see any movement along? I'm not looking up really at all. I'm really just staying really close to the ground, kind of making S shapes along the left side, and then over time, if you wouldn't see anything, you would probably go over to the right side and keep going. Depending on how long you guys are doing around the mill.
I'm still going to say this is a perception because you're not necessarily looking for a particular
specific thing. Yeah,
it's more of a general.
Kind of anything.
Man, terrible.
It's gonna be one of those games.
Garbage.
It just seems like dense forest. There's not a whole.
He's
lot.
gonna go over to the right side. Looking.
Okay, so as you sit there and you kind of guide him with your mind to go towards the other side. As you guys are doing that, you two up near the track, I need you, let's see, make a perception check, each of you.
This is my game. Oh yeah, I got. What is this? Oh, and I get to roll proficiency dice because I'm proficient at perception. Skills.
And just for the sake of direction and things, we're just going to say one
No,
side of the
I'm
path
not.
is the east side and one's the west side.
Okay.
I got a 24 for perception.
24 for perception. Okay. So as you're standing there and you're looking around, out of the corner of your eye, you see something move in the bushes near the road, kind of off in the distance. But as you're doing that, a arrow comes flying out from the other side. Plus, it's not going to hit you. So as you're doing that, because it's only a plus, what is it? What's his attack bonus? Come on.
And just
So
remember, guys,
it was a 12.
I'm not paying
see-
attention to what's going on. So
you see it over
if you
there,
need me,
and-
you holler.
So as
'Cause the fox
you're
can
seeing
hear.
it over there from the other side, you were looking to the west side. From the east side comes an arrow flying past you, just past your head.
So was it like?
That's your
Was it aimed at what I saw out of my right eye?
No, you guess it was aimed at you.
Aimed at me? Okay.
Yeah.
Amateurs.
So I turned towards where the arrow came from, and I kind of like bang my warhammer against my shield, and I say, "Assail us at your peril, feeble creatures!" And I'll start running towards them.
Okay. At that same moment, another arrow comes flying out of that same side. As he turns, another arrow comes flying out of that, and you see out in the bushes a goblin standing there with a bow and arrow.
I'll call.
Fires at you.
I'll yell out ambush so that he can hear.
And 22 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. So you take, let's see,
This is where it starts hurting.
you take 5 points of damage from the arrow.
Okay, so I'm half dead.
I rolled a 4. That's good. And
It's a great
I
way
Hey,
to
you guys
start.
fell for the
And now-
trap, okay?
I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh yeah.
So as of right now, you're guessing there is, of at least 2, possibly a third one on the other side. Though the one on the other side has not done anything. You just saw the bushes move. But the other 2 have kind of revealed their location based on their shots. So, I need everyone, and I will roll for the goblins. That's terrible.
14 for Howie.
It's,
16.
17 for Tetrius.
Tetris. What was yours?
16.
16 for Val. Okay, and they rolled terribly.
Can I, as a free action, just yell out that I saw something on the other side of the road too? Just be like, there may be others on the other side of the road.
Sure. Okay.
So we're being assailed from both sides as far as we can tell.
Possibly. I said there may be others on the other side of the
top
road.
of the initiative round is Tetrius.
So, can I see... I know that there's one over there.
Yeah,
can I see another one, or do I see more than
Based
that?
on where the arrow came from, the kind of trajectory, you turn and look, and you saw they're about 15 feet apart, about 15 or 20 feet off the road in the tree line, inside the tree line.
So with my move action, can I get to them this turn?
You can get to one of them, yeah.
Okay,
from where
I'll
you're at.
run up to him.
Okay, so
and-
you go charging in through the bushes.
Yeah.
With
What
your
kind of
shield-
traps do I hit?
shield and
What traps do you hit? That's why it's like,
You're
you
able
delay
to-
your turn. Let the fox
you
go
go
first.
through, no traps.
Okay.
You get right up to him, run up to him.
I'll just take my warhammer and I'll just bash that guy's face in.
Make an attack roll.
Let's see, where's my...
Because meanwhile, the oxen just keeps going.
No, once you drop the reins, the oxen stay put. They're trained to, unless
I accidentally say,
I'm
yeah!
proficient
It's like,
with
no,
this,
wait!
So
You launch off those horses?
They're trained. Once the reins go limp, they're trained to stop.
that's 13 plus 4, 17 to hit.
17 hits. Roll for
Okay, I
damage.
get 1d8 plus 4. That would be 9 damage.
Okay, you come up with your. It's a warhammer, right?
Yes.
So you come up running through the forest. Come up, you see him, you just whack right across the side of the temple, and he just goes. Doesn't move.
Oh, yeah.
Totally took him out in one shot.
Oh, man, I should have used my bonus action. All right. That's my turn.
If you have a bonus action, you can use bonus action. So that was your action and movement.
Well, can I do that as a bonus action?
Your attack, no.
Well, I have my War Priest ability lets me, if I choose the attack action, I can make an attack as a bonus action with my Warhammer.
You could, but
I'm just saying-
you don't have enough movement to get to the other guy to do another attack on the other guy.
Well, yeah,
They're
but
too far
I
apart.
have a cantrip that I can use on him. So I come up and I use my...
Ooh.
Hey, what is it? You said you can use your...
I'm gonna
I-
say no because cantrips, unless the cantrip says bonus action on it.
Well, I would use my bonus action
for the
bonus
attack.
action for
That's
my
what I'm saying.
attack.
But how,
Just saying, if I can retcon my
Yeah,
bonus
how does
action.
how does that
allows
work?
you when you do your regular action as an attack. It's kind of like a follow through
Oh, okay.
with your hammer.
Okay.
So when you
That
take
makes
the
sense, yeah.
attack action, you then can use that to make a bonus action attack. So you basically get 2 attacks
Okay.
during that
Yeah.
round.
So that's my... I don't know what else you usually can do as a bonus action, but I don't think I've had anything else.
Usually at this level you don't have much.
Yeah.
Most people don't have much. About the only thing you can. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything. The only class that can really do anything at level 1 as bonus action is Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that's me.
So that's your turn. Okay. It is now Val's turn.
Did I know about the other side though? You
I
called it
yelled
out.
it out.
Yeah, you
but I
kind of
said
called it
that-
out, and you see him running in and whap, and just
So then I'll charge the other side,
towards the
the bush or whatever
Okay.
he called out.
Okay.
And then how far was it?
Make a quick perception check, just so you kind of can see. Actually, whichever's higher, investigation or perception, whichever's higher for you.
Probably perception.
Okay.
And then okay.
Just so you can see if you can spot where this goblin
So since I'm proficient, it's a plus. Well,
yeah, your proficiency die.
yeah.
is. You only have to
So
be
Use
an
a
8.
d4.
So that was a 5 plus a d4.
But you also get your ability score, your skill for it as well.
Yeah,
So
what's
Wait.
your-
Jeff, was that your first attack roll of D&D?
I haven't attacked yet.
No,
He's
no.
perceiving.
Oh, it is perceived. Okay. No, here I am just cause like I said earlier, right? I
Your
love people's
perception-
firsts, you know?
your perception
And you're
is
new
a
to
plus
D&D,
3.
so it's always
Yeah. So
that's
5 plus 3 is 8,
8,
and then
yeah.
Just
Do
roll
I-
it anyways. You can roll. There you go.
+2.
Well, that,
Or,
Oh, that's right. We're doing the
that does
proficiency
the
thing.
plus
Yeah, that's
three
the
does
thing.
add in his proficiency bonus.
so
Yeah.
it would be
So for wisdom,
Oh,
your
okay.
wisdom is
I thought we were
so it would be
rolling for
+1
proficiency
and then the
bonuses.
dice,
Yeah.
right?
Are we
Plus
not
one
going to
plus
do
a
that?
dice.
Or are we going to do the 1d4?
It's
You
only
can if you want, but
it's
you
only
just have
because
to
on
make sure
D&D
when you're in D&D Beyond that you minus your proficiency bonus
Yeah.
off of those numbers.
because it automatically puts it in there.
I
Yeah.
use all.
Yeah.
I use this.
and it's the ones that have the green dots next to them that have
So-
added in.
So 6, and then I rolled a 2, so 8.
8. Enough. You can see because his stealth roll was really bad. As you're running over, you can see him in the bushes kind of move because he's like.
Cool.
So
End
you
his
run
life.
up, make your attack, right?
There's like
Attack.
bugs and stuff, so he's like kind of like slapping the bugs off.
And you're
his
using
mind.
your great sword.
One
Yes.
flew up his nose. That's why.
Yeah.
Now,
like, "Oh,
okay,
gosh."
am I using my strength bonus to add to the attack and the damage, or how does that work?
That's add to damage.
So just
Okay.
like in the D&D Beyond, you'll you'll add +5 to your attack roll, and then your damage is 2d6 +3, which is your strength.
Well, is it +5 or +3 and then a proficiency die? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
It would be
+3 plus the proficiency, right? Or +5.
for the damage. It's just your strength modifier.
Right, but I meant for the attack roll.
For the attack roll, would be
Because you said
Plus
+5,
three,
right? So
plus your
+3
D.
plus the
Yeah.
So 14 +3, 17 plus dice, +4,
Yeah,
21.
yeah.
Now damage.
You hit
is
the goblin.
2d6. So now it's
You hit all
2d6
of the
plus
goblins.
3.
Yeah, 2d6 +3.
Cool.
You hit
Damage.
8 goblins.
So 2d6 plus 3 is 10.
10 points. You come in and just cleave him right through the chest area and just carve him open, and blood kind of spatters across your blade as you go through. And
It looks
I
really
like it.
cool.
he goes,
As he gets the bug out of his nose, so he
Yeah.
kind of smiles at the
he
end.
had,
like,
he had a short sword kind of down to his side, and he was just ready to bring it up, and you just carve into him, and he just kind of goes and falls back onto his back.
Is
Yeah.
that the only weapon I
Yeah.
detect on him?
That's the only one you could see.
I'll take it.
That's the only life that
So
you
I'll say
detect
as a
on
free
them
action,
too.
you can reach down.
Yeah,
Pick
I'll
up.
grab it.
Okay, so you can add a short sword to your list, and so when we can do it later in D&D Beyond. Add a short sword there.
Sure.
It's a plain old short sword. Okay, Howie, you're about 50 feet back from where they are, and you see
like
them
really
just
far.
one of them go this way, and the other one go this
Yeah.
way into the woods.
And
They've
that's why I'm
disappeared.
double checking this stuff. All right,
They've
cool.
disappeared.
All right, cool.
And at this,
Fireball
at
on the
this
other one.
point, your fox has now come across and is standing on the
Yeah, because
road.
he's kind of in the middle.
about-
Yeah.
About 30
So-
feet beyond where they were.
Yeah.
He's kind of made this big arc around, and he's about 30 feet on the other side of him. So he's about 80, 90 feet
Well,
from
I
him.
didn't think you'd go that far, but I figured when I came back to the middle, I'd be kind of near the horses. But you're saying he's far up, which is cool.
Yeah,
You-
because
especially
he didn't
because
know
my perception,
exactly where.
my perception
Yeah.
roll was crappy, so he just kept going and just kind of got
He's
lost.
kinda made- and he's running pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I
was
found the
so
road.
intent on finding something, and I'm like, oh snap, I'm not even near.
Really
the-
want to
yeah.
find it.
So the fox is going to start running towards the right, the one goblin that's left on the right. I'm assuming he's not going to reach it in time.
So in
Unless
this-
he
in this
ru-
case,
even
the
rush,
east?
Even if you rush, it's not. It's just a matter of trying to use the help action to see if somebody
Yeah.
can tag it. But he can't even get close enough. So the
Not quite
fox
close
is just kind of running down the road and,
Yeah.
and trying to get to
Gets
the right side.
Pretty much to where the horses are.
And
It's pretty close.
how is he just going to kind of like shake himself loose and kind of see he's going to be like, and he's kind of angle it up and he's going to like go like almost like a montage style when it kind of goes into the brain and you see all the math happening in his brain. He's like calculating like, and he's going to take out a dart and he's going to like stick out his tongue and take like one puff on his pipe and then just close one eye and throw it like directly up and try to like literally throw
Lob
it and
it
have it
down.
like lob right down
like
because there's
directly
no way
in-
he's hitting anything because
Okay.
I'm rolling with disadvantage because
You
it's
are
like
rolling
past 50
disadvantage,
feet.
yeah, because you're
So-
50 feet out.
So it'd be so I mean a 4. I mean unless
Yeah,
I roll
yeah,
less
yeah.
than a 4, which
You
so-
toss it out there and it kind of goes.
yeah, it's just like doesn't even get close. And then he's gonna jump down in between the oxen
Okay.
and kind of hide.
All right. So you guys do that.
How
different color
how
dodger.
far ahead are the fallen horses?
They're 50
From
feet.
you, they're about 50 feet from you.
From about 50
And-
feet. Okay, all right,
And
cool.
then they took off from where the horses were out
All right, cool.
into
All right, cool.
the left and right to the east and west side. So it is now Goblin's turn. 2 of them you've already taken down. The other one that was on your side sees what happens. He's far enough away. He's going to pull out his bow and take a shot at you.
May Tyr be with me.
17. Push your armor
18.
class. Nice.
18.
So he takes it, hits it, and it just ting off your armor. Not quite enough. Didn't hit enough.
Like as
He
I'm turning
angled
to
it
look
enough.
at him, it like hits right on my visor and just like glances off, and I'm like,
And so he takes, seeing that, and
Which he can't see because it's behind the visor.
Because he's on the east side of the road. After seeing it, and kind of thinks off, he goes and takes off running across the road. Gets about most of the way across into the other side, right on the tree line, kind of near where you are. He's about 10 feet from where you are.
And I noticed this?
Make a perception check. You are facing the other direction.
Yeah, because I charged the other guy. So, 7.
7. Yeah, you don't really notice him coming up behind you. Just because you've been laying in this guy and you just reach down to pick up your sword as he's running across the road.
Sure.
As you're reaching down, you do happen to notice, though, there's another goblin to your right.
Okay.
Who, after seeing his friend get filleted, just runs on.
By a guy with an arrow in him?
Make an attack against you, a 23.
ooh,
Dang.
Roll a natural 19.
dang.
Am I dead now? Am I unconscious?
Goblin rage.
And 3 points of damage.
Okay.
I rolled a 1, so be glad.
I'm
Don't
not
worry
worried about
about it.
any
I
of
got
this.
you.
Are you still up?
The short swords
I'm
are
still good, I'm
short
still
swords
good.
are 1d6, so you take 3 points of damage, and then he makes the attack and just kind of stands there and growls at you, just
Okay.
after swiping it across you. Okay, back to the top of the round.
Can I make it to that other goblin?
To chase him,
Yeah.
he's a little bit faster than you are.
Mm.
Because you got a foot speed of 25 and he's got a
Yeah.
foot speed of 30.
Ah,
so
darn it.
not
And he was already
quite-
15 feet away from me.
Yeah, so you're even at an angle. You're good.
So you're at like 1 HP? You're at
4.
4? Ah, that's...
And make a perception check. See
Okay.
if you can see him
Sorry.
and his. Granted, you saw him take an arrow on the road.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Are you using
This is a 1.
Oh my goodness, natural 1.
Yeah.
You're just like,
God.
what?
Everybody's
You
fine.
start running there.
It's like the meme with the fire in the
background. Your
background.
movement, your action.
Yes.
This is fine.
This is fine.
I will run towards the goblin, and then I will cast Toll the Dead on him.
Oh, okay. So you come running up. You get basically back to where the horses are, and he's about another 10, 15 feet from you. About 10 feet. And you reach up, and you grab your holy symbol, and just put your hand out. And
I point at him, and the sound of a dolorous bell fills the air.
I thought you were going to say DeLorean. Like, what?
so this low...
Oh no, this is a whiz save. He's got to make a...
He hasn't made the 88 miles an hour yet.
All of a sudden you see it come down the road.
Yeah.
It's the goblin.
Let's see, goblin.
And then nothing but tracks the
There
fire.
it is. Wisdom
Totally
minus
dead.
1. Right.
Come on.
I rolled a 7, so he does not make his save.
It does 1d8 damage to him.
Okay.
Which goblin is
There
this?
you go.
The one that
6.
ran across the road.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice roll.
6 damage.
6 points of damage. He kind of grabs his head. He still has the bow in his hand. Just kind of grabs his head. He's still up, but he looks flustered. And
Does everyone hear the gong?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
sound
oh,
of
yeah,
dolorous,
it's a
dolorous bell
loud-
fills...
bell, boom, like Big Ben type bell sound.
How
But
did
deeper, deeper.
I calm the oxen as I'm hiding. It's okay.
Would I have recognized what that? Have you used that with me in presence?
Probably not yet.
Okay.
Probably not.
We don't get into many fights in town where I have to cast magic on them.
Okay, so that's your turn, Val.
Actually, oh no. Oh, can I cast Healing Word as a bonus action on...
Is it a bonus action?
Yeah.
Is it a bonus action spell? Or is
Cure
it an action?
Wounds is an action. Healing Word is
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Healing Word is really powerful. Yeah, because it's bonus
Okay,
action.
yeah. As a
So-
bonus action, cast Healing Word. You can see him now, being up where the horses are. You can see him now.
So that's 1d4 plus my spellcasting modifier to him. Which that would be 6 points of healing.
Okay. So
And
you
that's
reach
a...
out. What do you? What's the thing
Brought
you say
back
for the
from the
healing?
brink.
It's your healing word spell. It's based off of your speaking.
I didn't really think about what I would say.
Toss me.
Toss me.
Don't tell the elf.
Don't tell me.
Well, that's another thing too. And
if you don't want to roleplay it, it's fine.
No, I want to. I'm just trying to think of what it would be.
Yeah.
You just took your turn for this round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you wanted to delay your turn till after me, or would you automatically delay it till the end of after the goblins act? How do you like to do that?
With the way battle works, you can through the initiative, you can hold your action.
But it will put you on the bottom of that round.
When you hold your action, you're holding it for a particular trigger. So, like you say, I want to hold an attack action
until
if this happens.
Yeah. Well, but you can also like hold your whole turn to the bottom of the tier of that round.
Yeah, you can push it clear to the bottom, but then you're at the bottom for the rest of the rounds.
Because what I'm saying is we definitely have some time to do like a little bit of strategies and stuff like that. And for example, my familiar can use the help action to give you an advantage on an attack roll. So it's within range. So if you let me move, if I could go first, he could run within range, distract that goblin, and then when it's your turn, you get advantage on your attack roll if you want to attack it.
Opportunity.
It comes up, the fox would come up and get up on it, not attacking, but draw its attention so that you could come up and
advantage.
And then you get advantage on the attack roll.
Advantages you roll when you're going to roll to attack. You just roll
2 dice, higher dice.
Yep.
So I got what I'm going to say. I hold my hand out to Valthar and I say, "Tears justice sustain you."
Nice.
Cool.
You hear that, and it's like this burst of energy from inside, just
and it makes you cry a little bit.
Just clears your head, little tear.
But then I realize the goblin just hit me, and I get pissed, and I suck the tear right back in.
All of a sudden, you need a tissue, and you don't know why.
I'm going to use the face of this goblin.
Okay. So, are you?
How did I get here?
Are you going to hold your action until the fox comes up? Because you can just hold an attack action because you're close enough to that goblin that's next to you to allow it. So you can just hold your action. That way, you're still in the turn order where you're at.
Sure.
But you just hold your action. It means you just can't use your. You can use your movement now and hold the action.
Okay, but he gets to go before the goblin, and I'm guessing the familiar is his turn.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like you said, I could wait for the trigger.
Yeah, you're waiting for the trigger, and the trigger.
So I could wait for the fox.
Yeah,
you basically wait for 10 seconds.
I'll do that.
And then I say, fox runs up to the goblin, and then you get to make your attack roll.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
The fox runs up to the goblin. And it's going to go ahead and
pop your head up.
It's going to jump out and try to grab onto his arm, and try to.
So
in
between the oxen, as you're sitting there, you kind of go into that trance to see where your fox is at, and you see where he's at running down the road, and you see off to the side that he's standing there, and you're like, I can help him, and you go running toward the goblin.
Quick. So if I'm gonna do that, hold my action for a trigger. Would that be like my full turn, or would that be like my attack action?
It basically is your turn if you're holding like.
So could I do?
Normally, you can do like a movement and a bonus action, then hold your action.
Okay, so instead of moving, but I could do a bonus action.
If you've got a bonus action.
And then attack after the fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a bonus action.
How do I know if I have a bonus action?
Usually it's an ability, and it'll say bonus action.
It's a specific ability.
Oh.
It's usually just later levels.
Like my spell and my war priest ability say as a bonus action.
Like,
I was just wondering if I could like try
has
and
no bonus actions.
I was thinking like as I'm getting up after he strikes me, like I'm guessing I kind of tower over him a little. I was gonna like just very menacingly, intimidatingly like stare him down while I'm waiting to attack.
Usually that's an action to like do like a specific thing, like talking, like trying to intimidate or something. But like in some instances, like what I like doing when you have that bonus action, think of it in terms of like add some flavor. If you have a bonus action,
well, that's what I'm guessing though. If I'm guessing I don't have a bonus action, so I'll just wait.
Your bonus action, you just take it's a great sword, right?
Oh yeah.
Great sword. You take your great sword and just pull it back, and you're like.
So you lick it.
Like home run slugger stance. Like this is gonna be fun.
He looks one eye closed, and you just kind of hold it there, and you're like, "Oh, he's gonna get."
Like I have an intimidation bonus.
But you just wait.
Sure.
And now you get your attack.
You take control of your fox, and you see him over there, and you scurries up, and you make the fox basically take a bite out of his ankle. It doesn't do much to him, but it draws his attention, and he turns, which allows you to attack. So make your attack with advantage.
So I'm just gonna roll 2 20s.
Yep.
Oh yeah, plus the D4s, right?
4.
Plus you get a D4.
On both of them, or
Well, I mean, on
you're
one.
proficient
whichever
with your
one.
weapon.
Yeah. So
So
just one of them.
And then you
so-
have a 2 hit.
plus your D4.
So 12.
Or is it 1 plus your D4? No, it's 2.
2 for
No,
me.
it's 3 plus your D4.
So 13.
13 actually is enough.
Is sufficient to end his
It
life.
is sufficient enough. So make your damage roll 2d6 plus 1 plus d4.
He dead.
2d6 plus
Oh,
1.
1. Or wait, no, it's just your
The
strength modifier.
so
it's just
3.
plus 3.
So 11.
11 point. Yeah, you just... He turns and looks, and you just take that opportunity, and just like in the movie, you...
Instead of using the sharp end, can I twist it and just
Slap
How do you want to do this? Right? Does he
Yeah,
want to do the
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so you turn and you see the orc go, or the goblin go, huh? And you're just like, oh, and you just crank it to the side.
Does it smack it against a tree? Like
Ring his bell so hard, his neck just kind of goes, and you hear it snap in place, and he just kind of, it doesn't even make sound, kind of a gurgling noise, and just falls to the ground. Did you get all 4 of them? I think there's still that one other one that you were chasing. So
on the west side?
So it technically is your turn now.
Yeah.
So you kind of use that as a bonus action to get over there.
Yeah,
So now you have your
the
action.
fox, the
And you
familiar
can
acts
see
like
down the road. You can see
Okay.
that goblin now. You can see him down the road making his way
Yeah,
across.
and which way is he going? Where? Yeah,
He was
where-
going to the west, towards
to the
me.
west side.
to the
from
west,
him.
He's on the road going towards
Yeah,
the
he's
west.
He was
almost
at-
at the edge of the road,
yeah.
heading down that ravine to the other side.
Okay, and
Towards
he's
where
like
both of
kind of
them-
near the horses, right?
Near the horses, yeah.
All right, I'll take. Yeah, and he says what, like 50 feet away?
Yeah, about that.
Let's see what's the range on this. Oh God.
Firebolt.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
like 120.
Yeah, he's like, so he's just gonna go ahead and
Ridiculously high.
he's just gonna kind of like stand there for a second, just like yawn, like real quick.
It comes out of the pipe.
Just like, I was like, oh, you're getting ahead of yourself. I'm just kidding. But yeah, exactly. Just kind of just like, as he lights it, like the flame kind of comes up, and then he just kind of like puts his finger up and catches it, and then just kind of like flicks it up into the air and watches it go over.
Is your
And-
pipe your spellcasting focus?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
You just take your pipe a little further and you look at it and you go, Right out of your mouth
But he
you
doesn't
go.
hit shit.
what, an 18?
No, it was a 2.
Oh, a
I just
2.
think a 2.
What's your, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
What's your, what's your spellcasting modifier?
Oh, well, yeah, then again, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I
it's
guess
a
I
plus
can throw it
6
on
to
there.
hit. It was an 8, not
Yeah.
quite enough.
So
You-
it would be plus 4 plus my proficiency, right?
So that's technically 8.
Yeah, so
If
If you
even
roll
if I could
correctly.
roll, if I 3, so
it would
5,
be
9.
one more. Yeah, 9.
Cool.
Still not enough. The firebolt goes off and you see it go off, and it goes near him, but he's able quickly to kind of duck out of the way. He sees it coming and kind of ducks out of the way. So now it's his turn.
But I didn't light anything on fire. Good. As I see it go down, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Lights near the horses.
And then I'm like,
It lands
oh,
on the
and
road
then
near
it
the
doesn't.
horses and just
Okay.
kind of.
And I'm like, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Just look around
The
like,
forest on fire.
I don't know what I
And the
can.
forest is green enough unless you did like a fireball spell. It wouldn't light on fire.
That's why, like,
from
I
a
wouldn't have
cantrip.
used the fire. That's why I used the dart in for the first thing. I'm like, let's not light the whole
place
Yeah.
on fire. Okay, so this goblin now takes with having seen that. You're behind. Tetris is behind him, and he sees him. He's gonna. You know what? He's gonna take off running into the forest. So he's using his dash action. Just
Do I still
starts.
not notice him, or
Um,
by now do I notice him? I heard a big bell and then an
with the
explosion.
explosion, you would have turned and you see him kind of go run past you that way, and take off that way. He's about 40 feet.
About how far?
From
Okay,
you,
you
about
said 40 feet.
into the forest.
Okay.
Takes off running, just scared.
Is he too far away for like an opportunity attack? Or?
Yeah, for attack of opportunity. They have to be in melee range for attack of
Oh,
opportunity.
okay.
So,
I was like, I pull out my crossbow.
but if you could, because it is your turn now. If you wanted to pull out your crossbow, you could take
Yeah,
a shot
I
at
can
him.
definitely give it a shot.
Well, didn't I take my
Crossbow.
turn?
He did.
Sorry, it's
and
your
Would
turn
be
now.
his
Top of the
turn.
round.
Yeah.
Top of the round now. It's your.
So about how far is he from him now?
He's about 70 feet.
Mhm.
Cause
But I can close
he's
that.
a little slower.
Yeah.
You could close that by 40
Short
or
legs.
about 25 feet.
25.
So you're down to about 40 feet.
Which is just enough to cast Toll the Dead again.
Okay.
No, wait. Do we want to kill him or do we want to?
None of us can
Incapacitate
catch up to him at this point.
I mean, the box could.
What does the fox say?
Well, and here's
They
the
goes,
thing, just so you know in the future, like, if somebody's running and you want to injure them, make them go unconscious without killing them, you can make an attack roll. What I do is I just add 1 to the AC, and to see if you hit a non-lethal area. If you still beat the AC...
I like that.
What about called shots? Like, I want to shoot him in the leg.
Okay, called shots, things like that. I have a rule for my other campaign. Depending on how big the area is, the AC goes up by a certain amount. So, like, an eye shot is, like, +5 to the AC of the creature. If you still beat the regular AC, you still hit. It just doesn't hit where you were aiming.
Sure.
Large areas like a leg, right in the back. Arms would, like, in the back would be, like, in particular, like, you're aiming for the heart area.
Sure.
Probably be a +2. You know, arm maybe a +3 because they're a little smaller, harder to hit because they're moving. Things like that. Larger creatures. Again, it's really based on, and I'll tell you about how much the increase is. But as long as you beat the AC, you're still going to hit him.
Right.
So, but if you want to, what I'm saying, if you want to make a non-lethal shot or a non-lethal hit on a creature, you can, and it can still knock. It still reduces them to 0, but it just knocks them unconscious rather than dead.
Or you could try to, like, with your crossbow, try to shoot in the leg to like try to get it to stop.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about called shots.
Yeah.
So, because I don't think any of us can speak Goblin, I'm just gonna run up, and I'm going to point at him, cast Toll the Dead, and I say, "Tear consume you."
Okay. Wisdom
and
saving
it echoes
throw
through the
against,
forest.
What's the
and the
wisdom?
crow.
14.
I guess 14. Natural 18.
Gosh.
So the bell goes off, and he's just like, because you've done it once before, and he's like, just keeps running. So your turn.
I'll try and. I mean, would I be able to pull out my crossbow in time to aim and shoot at his leg?
In 5th edition, pulling your changing weapon is just a free action.
Or did you want to wait for the because you can get an advantage on the crossbow attack too with the fox, right?
The fox is too far away to get that.
Well, I mean the fox can bolt, right? I mean, it's a
what's the speed on a fox?
Even like that's right because he would have to because he took the dash action, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's 40 feet, he would need to dash, which in which case would be an action, so he wouldn't be able to help. But you could at least see, but for your attack, it's not going to help you.
So with the crossbow, is it just the same?
Let's see how far.
It should be plus
crossbow
D20 plus your strength plus your proficiency modifier.
It's actually dexterity for crossbows. It's considered
playing a different game
because it's aiming more than anything. So it's +2 plus your D4.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this thing is killing me tonight.
As long as it's not a natural 1.
No, it's a
swap it out, man.
5.
If the D20 is giving you trouble, swap it out. That's why I have a few here.
Well,
I was gonna say I got my Vox Machina dice.
I've got a few that I like to run
You
with.
want to roll like Grog's dice or something?
So and it was plus proficiency.
Yeah,
so 5 plus 2 plus 1, 8.
8, not quite enough. You aim off and it sticks into a tree right near him as he's keeping running.
Fox is gonna try to keep up with him. He's gonna use the dash action to at least get close to him, and I'm actually gonna because I'm so far away at this point. First as literally like as my action, or at least as my movement, I'm gonna hop back on top of the cart and do like a kind of a check around me, see if there's any other goblins sitting about, try to see if anything's coming up from behind us, anything like that. Just keep an eye on the cart, and then get back into the mind of the fox and try to get vision on the last goblin.
Okay. Let's see.
And the fox too is like it like glows. It's like a it's a familiar. It's not like an action.
Sure.
So it's a little bit easier to see. So like in terms of like trying to track this thing, if we are going to try to track this goblin down, assuming he's even running towards his friends, which could be even worse. Maybe we want to let him go and get the hell out of here. That could be another thing. So if anything, I'll use my action to send message to try to tell. What's your? I forget your character's name. Was it Tetrius? Tetrius and
Valthar.
And Valtar. To try to tell Tetrius, just be like, hey.
Now you roll high.
19.
Just a heads up, if we do want to catch him, we might be, might want to be careful.
I can
keep an eye out with the fox, but at the same time, how far, and if we do want to pull back, we're gonna need to let's clear these horses quick and get the heck out of here, like really quick.
The fox looking up some stats. because I'm basing it off because they don't actually have a fox stat
Right?
in there, so I based it off
cat
a
or
weasel.
something, or weasel.
Based it off
Weasel will probably have crappy speed.
They're about the same. But basically, it's enough using the dash action to keep up with the goblin, not enough to
Yeah, you can't do
catch
anything
him.
else. But
Can't
yeah,
catch him, but enough to keep up with
you
him.
can see him.
Yeah.
So I'll say back
how
with the
far-
message. Like we probably need to leave as quickly as possible.
Okay. So after another,
I can't
Set
respond
of
again
action.
because it would be another.
after
message.
another set following the fox, midway through what would then be your third turn, you lose the vision of the fox because you can only stay in contact up to 100 feet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because your
In
familiar,
which case, would it like
your
disappear?
familiar has to be within 100 feet of you.
Yeah, would it like disappear, or would it kind of like hit an invisible wall? I don't know how that works.
It's like losing control of an RC car. It just kind of stops and doesn't know what to do and kind of knows where you are, and so it starts to pull back from where it is. But
All right.
the goblin keeps.
So
taking off.
after kind of
toward
jumping
them.
up, kind of using like a little bit of movement to kind of look around real quick up on top of the car, I'll go ahead and at least move like 10 feet within it, so we can at least it like knows what's up. But and then I'll just end my turn there.
Okay. All right. So for the time being, that's the end of combat. Is there anything else you guys want to
We'll
do?
search some dead bodies real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to go over to the only goblin that I know that had a bow was the first one that I killed.
Yep.
I'm going to go to him and I'm going to check the arrows because I want to compare those arrows versus the ones that are in the horses because
they're identical.
they're identical.
Yep.
So it was goblins that took
Yeah.
Do
it.
either-
And he's got an arrow stuck into him that you just
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
pull out. So.
How are you
That's why
doing?
you're rolling bad. You have an arrow in your shoulder.
Ah. At least it wasn't my knee.
Yeah. Got a bad knee.
Well, that's a
So-
Skyrim.
And
I
his-
guess I have a healer's kit as a. Since we're out of combat, healer's kits have 10 uses, right?
Yeah, healer's kits are to like stabilize unconscious creatures.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's
It's
not.
I
not
thought
that
you
healing.
could
It doesn't
be.
heal hit points.
Oh, okay.
It allows you so like if somebody were to go unconscious or something, you can stabilize them so they don't do death saving throws.
Yeah.
It brings them to 0. They don't become conscious, but they're stable basically.
So it's the healer feat that allows you to heal with it.
I believe so.
Okay.
I'll have to look that up, but I believe so.
I can try to look that up.
I'll search at least the 2 goblins that I took out.
Okay.
I'm going to go back through. Well, after comparing those, I want to go through the.
Because it was
The
the
saddlebags.
other one that had the bow that took off.
Mhm.
So between the two that were over by you, you're able to find 10 silver pieces and 6 copper pieces. So you can add that to your gold list. You're able to find 4 silver pieces and 2 copper pieces,
So 10 silver, how much copper?
and 6 copper for you.
So Chris just adds up. Here's kit. This kit is a leather pouch, blah blah blah, bandages, salves, and splints. 10 uses. As an action, you can expend 1 use of the kit to stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without
Okay.
needing to make a wisdom check.
Okay.
Yeah, without making a death saving.
And then the healer trait. You're an able physician. When you use a healer's kit to stabilize a dying creature, you can regain one. It regains 1 hit point. As an
It
action, you can
becomes
spend 1
conscious.
use to attend a creature to restore 1d6 plus 4 hit points.
Gotcha. So that's once you hit level 4, you could take that as a feat and use that then. But for the most part, the healer's kit is to stabilize creatures. So.
It would be nice if it had the uses.
So on the
here,
fox's
I'm
way
just gonna
back,
get it.
because it's going to start making its way back to the main road. It's going to kind of search that area again, try to find tracks in general. Now that I understand that, I can see the horses at this point. Where I'm going to be looking for maybe if they're like dragging bodies, anything like that. It's going to be looking for very specific tracks, looking around that area.
Okay.
As I'm kind of just like in the middle of the road,
Make
like meditating.
if you're looking particularly for tracks, make an investigation check using your stats even for the fox.
Oh my god, my rolls just awful. 8.
Right? At least I made enough to hit them.
Yeah.
Not quite enough. The ground and the foliage is a little hard to go through with the fox and see a trail per se. I mean, you kind of know the general direction where the goblin was headed, kind of toward the northwest. Kind of took a northerly as he took off, just kind of went a little bit north, but definitely still to the west. So kind of off this direction.
So I can add that 1 short sword that I picked up off the first guy, right?
Yeah, so you'd have the one short sword that you picked up. There is another short sword there, but they're just basic old short swords.
Yeah, I can always sell them or if in case I need them.
Yeah, they're worth a few silver pieces.
Money's money.
I'm gonna go through the saddlebags, just check if there's anything in those at all.
Nothing left. They've been looted clean. Everything's been taken on rations. Everything.
So
I guess
there was an empty map case, right?
I have that.
He
Okay.
took the case roll.
If there is one of the short swords, I'm gonna have the fox grab one of the short swords and bring it to me.
I'm gonna start trying to move the horse corpses off the road so we can get out of here.
I'll come back and help.
Make a strength check. If he's helping, just do it with advantage. Your strength check with advantage. Just straight.
17, and
Plus,
I get to
yeah.
add my modifier. Oh,
Easy enough. You put it down kind of in a low dwarf stand. You just kind of roll these guys over with his help. You kind of both move them over, and you're able to clear the road enough. You kind of just you move the horses' bodies over to one side of the road.
I hop back inside the driver's seat. I change the skulls to wings, and I go, yeah.
Okay. So you guys gonna continue on the road, or are you gonna try and find tracks or anything like that to try and follow the goblin?
That's the trick.
He did it
yeah.
once, but you guys are over there. You don't know if he's done that.
Well, I figured he had headed in a direction away from the road.
Well, I mean,
So-
there's only the one way to go, so I'm still going straight, towards where
Well,
you guys are.
I meant the goblin.
Oh,
When
yeah.
he took off west, right?
Yeah,
Down
kind of
the
northwest-ish.
Northwest.
I guess I'll check for from their vantage points in the forest. I'll check
Sure.
if those 4 were the only goblins that were there, if there were more before, and then possibly what directions that they came from.
Okay, make a survival check.
All right.
And Valtar, you were the only one that took damage, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good now though.
You're okay.
His heal was pretty good. I'm at 10
What'd you
or
roll?
12.
I had
What was your natural?
a 15.
15. Enough.
Okay.
Even without the modifiers. So as you're looking around, you go to where the 2 with the bow and arrow were, and you can see movement around. That there's been several, not just these 2. There's been several goblins in the area, probably going back and forth. As you go over to the other side where the other 2 goblins are, you kind of look around, and off to one side you can kind of see what is the makings of a small trail. And as you go over and look at it, it looks like there's been probably a dozen or so goblins going up and down this trail for the last probably couple days.
So can I tell if they have, because I'm under the assumption, since I didn't see that Gundren was hurt, or that they're probably still alive. Have they been drugged down this path, or?
You actually do see that there are 2 human-sized, what looks like what would have been 2 human-sized bodies being dragged, hauled away from the ambush site.
Okay. I'm gonna look at one of the goblins. Do they have traveling stuff on them? Does anything to indicate that they're local?
Long traveling?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
They're kind of scouts. They're meant as ambush. They have weapons and armor, and that's a few gold pieces, but that's it.
So I'll go back to Valthar and Howie, and I say, there's a possibility that Gundren and Sildren are still alive. We might be able to, it looks like the goblins are local, that they probably have a camp around here. We could possibly go and save both of them. And, I mean, these provisions really aren't worthwhile to us unless Gundren's there, because we don't know who he was giving them to. So,
well, we know where we were dropping him off though.
Yeah, but
how far are
But
we
you
from the
wouldn't
town?
you wouldn't get your 20 gold
yeah,
pieces from
we're
the
definitely not
Right.
getting anything for doing this if we don't bring Gundren back with us.
And
So I was gonna go 20 gold pieces. That's nothing to me. And I go to jangle my pouch, and I realize there's nothing in it. And I'm like, actually, yeah, maybe we should go.
see if we can find him.
And also, I'm gonna have the fox go search for that dart that I threw.
Okay.
I don't know if he finds it.
Just make a what is it?
Oh, I can't wait to fail this roll.
Well, it's not gonna be a hard DC. Just roll and if you can beat a 10, go find it. 8 plus
8
your-
plus.
Yeah,
plus 2.
enough.
Sweet.
So it just takes a couple minutes based on where you were. You're like, it's about right there. You're able to pick it back, put it back
My fox is just not very perceptive. My fox is kind of like very absent-minded.
Listen up. Mommy's not there.
No.
Do you want to just stand there and listen? Okay.
Daddy.
Yeah. Oh, do you want one of those? Whoa. Here, hold out your hand. There you go. Okay, take it upstairs and go eat.
Yay! Go! Yay! Go!
Okay.
Come on!
So you guys kind of follow head up that trail.
Yeah.
Easy enough. You kind of take the oxen, you push them off the one side of the road, tie them up to one of the trees.
Well, so are we all going? Three of us? Just one.
Well, I was gonna head the way. Like I say that to you that we need to bring Gundren back with us, and then I start
Does it
heading
seem
out that way.
like there's a place to kind of maybe stow or hide the oxen? I mean, it's kind of hard to hide oxen around here, but just like in terms of at least keeping them off the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're off to the side. You kind of go into the trees a little bit, and you climb up to one of the trees.
Also, I make the recommendation as you guys are starting to head over. I'm like, guys, wait. I mean, does anybody happen to have anything to maybe like make some traps or something to kind of help us if we need to run for our lives to come back here?
I don't have any equipment to make traps with. Most of my equipment is for breaking.
The curses of level 1.
Yeah.
If it were entry, I'd have you covered.
Howie is going to desperately try to make a very simple trap kind of on that trail out of the string that he's got, kind of putting it across the side with a dart and a piece of wood with a knife cutting a little bit of wood.
Kind of a snare trap.
Yeah,
which
might take a little bit of time. If anything, if you wanted to rest, because it might take like 30 minutes to do something like that, honestly.
Probably.
If you wanted to take a short rest for like, I mean,
So how did again? I need a refresher. How did hit dice work?
So hit dice when you take a short rest. So like in D&D Beyond, if you go and do the short rest thing that's on there.
Where's that?
If you click on your character's picture,
Or on the health points.
Or on hit points.
You can go in and click. There's a hit die thing. So it'll probably say fighter hit die 1d10 plus 2. And you have one of those to be able to use. At short rest. It restores hit points.
But every short rest you can use that.
Just once per day.
Oh,
so in order to restore your hit dice, you have to take a long rest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm at 10 and 12.
He's got like what? Like,
but I've only got one heal spell left.
Rest, right?
Well, and I can do my.
At each level, you get.
I get kind of like a healing
For every
ability
level, you
as a
get
fighter.
Like a healing surge during
Yeah, fighter surge or whatever.
Second wind or something.
Second wind. That's exactly what
Yeah.
it is. So I mean, if I'm desperate, I can use that. That's a 1d10.
Yeah,
I
but
believe.
like.
Between that and what I have, that's all the healing that we have.
Yeah,
Sure.
So we have
you roll the hit
28
die
hit
and
points.
add that
Well,
to
no,
your-
we have 26 hit points collectively right now.
You add your
he doesn't-
With the
constitution
potential
modifier, I
for
forget.
like,
just
let's
the
see,
hit
I can
dice.
do like
That way you
2d6
can't-
healing or something like
Oh.
that, plus 4.
If
was
you're
my
like
big heal.
almost all the way down, you can't get to full health.
So would
Yeah,
you
short
suggest I do a hit die
But if
for
you're
the
like-
short rest?
half health and you roll all
'cause
of
I
your
mean,
dice.
I-
you
Well,
can usually
your
get
second wind will use your hit die.
hit points. You don't.
That's
have
how
to
the
use
second-
You don't have to use your hit die at a short rest. If you feel like you're
The second
kind
wind
of
uses up the hit die?
Yes.
Does it?
I'm pretty
No,
sure.
second wind? I don't think so.
It just
Well,
Well,
gives
second
me.
wind is in combat only.
On your turn, you
Yeah.
can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level.
So
Once
do
you use
want-
this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it
Oh,
again.
okay.
Oh yeah,
so
so I
it's,
guess we
it's
might as
separate.
well.
yeah, might as well use the
Yeah.
hit die because might as well use
Yeah,
get to
that's-
full right now.
Might as well, yeah.
Mhm. Sure,
Yeah.
I'll
You
use a
usually
hit die.
use during combat, but I'll say maybe near the end of that combat you did it.
Well, if we were going to do a rest, I was just going to do a hit die.
Well, your hit dice you won't get back until your short rest or until your long rest if you use it. With this,
Oh, you say I used it
get
at the
1d10
end,
plus your fighter level
and then
without
I use
expending the hit dice.
And then we get
the
take a
short rest to
to get it
recuperate.
back.
Okay, I see. That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, why not?
So
5.
5, so you
Plus
heal
1.
6. So
6.
you're at full health.
Yeah, I was only down 2 hit points.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
you're back.
But
to full
hey,
health.
So I didn't even
It's
need
2
the
hit
healing
points.
word you.
No, I level
So you
1,
didn't-
2 hit points
so you
can be a
didn't have to
lot.
use- You didn't
That's
have
true.
to use your hit dice, and you didn't have to use any.
And now after the
slots.
short rest, I get
Oh,
that.
so are we retcon?
What?
Nothing. Never mind. I was gonna say are we retconning that because it kind of sounded like you were, but I use it in combat, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, and at the same time, I can't like look through the fox's eyes. The fox is chilling on the trail like a little bit further up,
Yeah,
for that
you
time.
keep him ahead of you as you guys are.
How long does that last?
and I set a trap. I try to crudely make a trap.
Yeah.
And I like cut myself like 4 times.
The fox stays ahead. It's just when he
Take a hit point.
when
again.
he wants to go into to see where through the fox's eyes, he's blind and deaf. I mean, he could still
Right.
walk if he wanted to, but he would need assistance to not like trip over things. And
Well, I was just wondering how long the familiar spell lasts.
Forever until it's dead.
yeah, until it either dies or he dismisses it.
How's it die? 1 hit point?
Yeah, it's 1 hit point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
And
And
then
some like 10.
So you can
10
basically
AC.
make it come and go as you please.
All it would take is 1 goblin arrow and it's gone. You know, so,
Yeah.
so it's like you got to protect it, but it's a useful tool.
It's
far enough tumble.
It's a semi-permanent illusion. Is really
Yeah,
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, okay. Is that
And
the
it
same
gets really
thing?
cool effects, like you can use it to if you have a touch, like a chill touch spell or something like that. You can use the familiar to cast that spell,
Oh, yeah.
As if,
which
as
is
if
really cool.
When you're
That's an
inside, you cast
extension.
the spell through the.
Oh, that's
familiar,
cool.
But I don't have that at this point.
basically. Yeah. at this
So
point.
Can you do like
in
Thunder Wave from that thing?
Is that a touch spell?
No,
Well,
it's
is it
not.
only touch spells?
The only touch.
Oh man, that'd be cool if you could just cruise the fox in Thunder Wave and just blast everything away.
That would be nice, but no.
is what's his name? Okay.
Gundren?
No,
Sylvan?
I'm thinking of Critical Role. One of the characters in there.
She said yes.
I forgot Vex's wizard's name.
You just do it and he says, okay.
Whatever.
Daddy's almost
Stop.
working. Yeah. We're not quite done yet, but she doesn't need to know that. Okay, so let's see. Dutchy, quiet.
You should probably mark where that snare is, so that like as
When
we're
you come
running
back.
back, we don't run into it.
I take a stick and I just plunge it into the ground.
Okay.
Just like- it's like
About
that.
10 feet before it.
I don't have like I can't conjure any illusions or anything like that at this point that would go for that much
Yeah.
distance, you know. So I wouldn't be able to like, really hold much there. But the thread itself is like blue.
Mhm.
It's a kind of like a blue thread, so I guess it's kind of easy. It's not easy to see, but it's like if you
It-
kind of an
it
idea, if
blends
you
a
have it in
little
your
bit.
head.
It's
yeah.
not like a white thread sitting there, but
Since we're familiar with where it is, we
I
would
draw
know
a
where
line
it
in
is.
the dirt.
familiar enough.
There's
Familiar
a couple
enough.
lines drawn. There's like an arrow being like, look, this is where it
if
is.
It
There's
comes,
arrows.
if it comes to that, all your guys' perceptions, passive perception is high enough that you would see it.
Cool.
So, let's see. So the trail starts to lead off kind of to the northwest, and let's see. So who marching order going up the trail? Because it's kind of a single person wide trail through the forest.
Guess it would probably be me, you, and then Howie, or
You might want to have me in the middle.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can take the tail.
Okay, so it's me, Tetrius, Howie, and then Balthar.
Okay.
And let's spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
About
Not
10
5 feet,
10
10
feet.
feet. Yeah.
Between each of you. Okay.
So we all don't
Easy
get
enough.
caught
So
in the net.
as you're going down the trail, you get about a mile down this trail, and you as you're going down, you kind of something catches your eye, and you're like, wait a second, and you spot what looks similarly identical to the snare trap he just created, but it's on the trail.
So can I want to investigate this, even though I'm bad at investigation. See what kind of snare it is. If it has like a trigger, if it's just, it's probably like I'm guessing that it's meant to alert. So it's got something.
Possibly, you don't know for certain. You don't know whether you can't see what you can see the trigger. You can see the line that's put there, but you don't know what will happen if it's triggered. You can't see that. Just with your passive perception.
Can I? So it. Can I check the ground before it just to make sure that like it's not a clever ruse and I'm not going to fall into a pitfall or something like that?
Like a secondary.
Make an investigation check as you're looking at it. And you guys kind of come up behind. He's stopped in the road, in the trail, looking at something.
That's a 19.
Easy enough. You look at it. There's no other traps around, and it's easy enough. It's only about 6 inches off the ground. Easy enough. If you guys want to, you just step over it and keep going.
All right. So I'll just inform them, like, hey guys, somehow Howie came up and he put one in front of us too, and so I just step over it and continue on.
Okay.
And I look at it, I'm like, whoa, I don't even remember
The
doing
craftsmanship.
The craftsmanship. And then I go ahead and draw a couple more lines in the sand to remind us. All right. Hey, look,
I got one
you
here
use
too.
prestidigitation, just
yeah.
carve a line in the thing as you're walking by. You're just like, all right, we'll remember that one. Okay, so about another 10 minutes down the trail, you're walking along. You're still in the lead. Make a perception check.
That is a natural 13
Plus.
plus 4, so 17.
Okay. You're walking along, and the trail, as you've been going along, has been mostly kind of dirt, but occasionally you see overgrowth going over it, but you can kind of see where the trail goes. At this point, you see one, and you're like, this one doesn't look the same. And you kind of go up to it, and you're guessing this looks like a pit trap that's been set up and dug down, and there's cover over it. You can't quite see. If you wanted to get closer and investigate, you could, but it looks like a pit trap up ahead of you. And you kind of stop and look at it. You're like, that looks like a trap.
Is the forest surrounding the pit trap, is it difficult terrain? Like, would it be really hard to get through? Difficult enough to where, like, just walking through
Circumvent it.
Slow you down significantly. Like less than half.
Are there any vines to swing over it?
No vines. It's not a jungle. It's just a natural forest with underbrush. But
see, I can't conjure vines yet.
If you're wanting to go around, you can try and go around it. Just I'll have each of you make a dexterity check as you're walking around it to try and avoid it.
Do you two want to go around it?
Unless you're really wanting to go really wide around it, in which case it'll just take you longer, and you don't quite know what's out beyond it.
I'm trying to think of what other tricks up my sleeve I have for a situation like this. I don't really have much.
I press for opinions on... I asked, should we go around? Do we want to try and inform them that there's possibly a pitfall trap ahead of us? And I say, would it be better to go around, or do we want to just try and traverse over this trap?
We could also, at least for the sake of time, if we wanted to spend a little bit of time going around, at least let the fox go check stuff out at least a little bit, kind of around the area. You know, but then again, time could be a factor. We don't know what the situation is with Rockseeker.
Does the fox actually weigh anything?
It wouldn't be able to. Probably wouldn't be able to pressure the trap. I'm assuming, but I could try it.
Since you've been on the trail, you've been walking at a brisk pace for about 45 minutes or so up this trail.
And I can change its form. But it's like it costs money, and we kind of mentioned that at least a little bit.
It's like
it's like 10 gold.
10 gold worth of charcoal and some other.
So it's one of those things where it's like it's better off being what it is for now, and also and if it dies, it costs 10 gold basically to cast it again.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So
it's a ritual type spell that he does at the beginning of whenever he wants to cast the spell, and it's just there, and he basically almost conjures it by just like snapping his finger, and it just kind of can come in and out as he pleases.
The ritual itself though takes like an hour.
Yeah,
but then once it's summoned, you can, as like a bonus action, you can just
bring
send
it
it out.
Yeah.
Right.
But what we could, but it might not be. But then again, I mean, it might not be a bad idea to at least try to see if the fox can trigger it. Then again, it's really light, probably can't trigger it, but I could try. I could try it around.
Let's just check it.
I go ahead
Let the fox check it out first.
I go ahead and sit down and meditate on the ground, and I have the fox run over, and he starts jumping up and down. Like he wants to play with the trap.
Okay, make a dexterity check for the fox using your stats.
All right, cool.
Let's get a Howie dex, so it's going to be +2.
Cool. My God, nothing. 4. Well, say goodbye to the familiar, guys, for a while. For a long while.
So as the fox goes over and takes like the first jump and just...
Unless it's not heavy enough to even do anything. Who knows? Maybe it's not even heavy enough.
Hold on, let me go into the spell and see what it says on the
He does like the fox looking for prey, kind of jump up and pounce. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. He's just kind of hopping up and down. Because I don't know, like, if you think of it, like kind of a pit trap. I guess it depends what kind of wood you have on the top in terms of like if a fox. I don't think a fox could really trigger.
I would.
It's up to you if you want to kill my fox right now. Pretty much. That's what
So
it
does
comes
it take
down
on,
to.
The way the spell works, I'll say as soon as you see it disappear, you can try make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
For me, saving throw.
I might be able to like desummon it at the same time. But I don't know.
Yeah, basically you can turn it off.
All right, yeah, let's try that.
To see if you can turn it off before it hits whatever's underneath. So you see it like kind of disappear, and you're like, and see if you can
10.
Let's see. Is that enough? No, not enough. Damn. You need at least a 12.
My rolls are horrible tonight.
So yeah, the fox falls in, taking 7 points of damage.
Yeah, it died.
Any points of damage.
But
don't
hey,
see
look,
it,
we triggered the trap, so we can climb through it now, I guess.
So now you see in the thing there's a hole about that big where the fox kind of jumped down through. There's still stuff around it, but as you guys get closer, looking through the hole that the fox just made, you can see it's only about 6 feet across this way on the trail and about 10 feet across this way. Although it does look like it's about 15 feet down.
Oh wow!
Was there anything in it, like punji spikes? Or...
Looking down, it looks like there's several pikes that are set up, spikes at the bottom.
I'd take a
damage.
puff of the church warden pipe and just be like, Gerald, your sacrifice will not be forgotten.
See you tomorrow.
I say to Howie, I'm
See
sorry,
you next
Howie.
time I make some money, which could take a while.
Possibly.
I say to Howie, I'm sorry, Howie. I'll be sure to give you the reagents you need to summon your fox again.
I try to look extra upset. Like really extra upset.
But only so much.
But having seen how big the trap is, easy enough. You guys know that's an easy jump. Not so good. Not so easy for you.
All right. Well,
so if you wanted to go across, because basically your jump, and it's weird
can we
enough that
throw him across?
Your jump distance, as long as you've got a 4 or 5 foot area to run and jump over, you can jump the distance of your strength score. Not the modifier, but your actual score.
Okay.
In
So
feet?
his score is an 8.
So I just have to clamber through. I just have to can I just kind of scoot towards the edge and kind of put my feet down, kind of scoot down it, and then just come over and then just climb up the
Can
other
I
side?
throw him my
It's
strength?
gonna take
15
a
feet
while.
straight down.
You can make an athletics check. See if
I'm not
if you
doing an
wanna throw him.
athletics check to see if I throw him across
Do you
the
want to try to
pit.
throw me, or do you want to just it'll take some extra time?
It wouldn't be hard. The DC wouldn't be hard because you're strong enough. You have what, an 18?
Yeah.
Your strength. Yeah, it wouldn't be hard for you to.
Man, still, ending his life right
And
here
I
would
believe you're
probably be...
proficient in athletics too.
And I can't really use my shield.
Really? Do I get proficiency in athletics? I don't think I am.
I am.
Oh, because you're a cleric. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm proficient in athletics.
Yeah.
Do I even have a rope?
It just takes you. It would
I've
take
got
you to
rope.
go around.
Yeah, let's just
It
go
would take-
around.
It's 10 feet across.
No, let's not go around. Gerald did not die in vain. I'm determined to try to get down into it and climb up the other side.
Well, it's 15 feet.
It's what
down.
Gerald would have done.
He'll jump across.
Oh, he said
I'll
it's
toss
15
him a
feet?
rope, and
Yeah,
he
it's
can
15 feet
rope
down.
climb across.
You'd have to get down, let go of the edge, and try not to get anything in you.
Let's see.
Because it's fairly full of pikes. There's
Yeah.
no way. There's not really a way you could get down without something poking you.
I don't have any darn rope.
They do.
I have hempen rope,
I've got hempen rope.
but do we... I mean, it's like a minute.
Basically, if
it's-
you wanted to try and jump it, I just need to make a dexterity.
Yeah,
check.
exactly. So I could run and jump it.
And as long as you roll higher than your strength score, you're good.
So
what if one of us jumps across?
Uh-huh.
He ties a rope around his waist, and when he jumps, we pull.
You just snap my back. Oh!
Well, you could use it and just say in case he falls, you could catch him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you
something
want
to that
I'll jump
effect.
across.
make your-
Something
make
to
your
that
dexterity-
effect.
So you
make your
guys
dexterity check.
wrap it around me, and as I step back, I kind of give a deep breath, and then I take out my quarterstaff, and I go,
Pull vault.
And I start
Before
running.
he jumps, pull.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, will be that plus. I mean,
Easy enough.
plus,
Yeah.
plus 2
Alright.
12.
You make the leap, and you guys are kind of holding the rope. Whoever's on the side first, holding the rope, just waiting in case he falls in. You're just like, ugh, if he falls in.
He
Easy enough.
He tries to
jumps
pole
he
vault. The
jumps
staff
across
slips
it.
through into the.
So I jump across. I like tie it off and then stick it in Howie's belt.
Okay. So easy enough. Okay. All right. So back to
I go ahead and brush the
trail.
shoulders a little bit.
Easy enough.
And
That
then,
jump-
and then-
that jump was
and you
easy.
can see like beads of sweat coming down my head, and I'm like, that was nothing.
And then I land
Because your
very
percep-
firmly behind
Because
you.
your passive perception's high enough, I didn't have to have you roll to see if you notice those traps. So, which made it a lot nicer. So
Nice. I'm glad we didn't die. We're just making our way there.
I'm like, at least someone's paying attention.
yeah, if
And then make it like it wouldn't be my fault
had
at
been
all.
leading the way, I would have had to have you make perception
Yeah.
checks. Because you have an 11.
Oh yeah,
You have a
my
13
perception
and he
is
has a
garbage.
14. So
Oh.
passing perception. Okay.
This is kind of my jam, though.
We need some-
Wisdom.
We need some new music.
Being all
there.
wise and stuff.
New background.
I got a 13 in wisdom. Not bad for a fighter, I think.
Forest, where'd the forest go?
A 13 wisdom?
Yes.
Ah, I've got a...
Forest.
Well, it's your main
19.
stat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing, Jordan. Ever played Darkest Dungeon?
Oh, man,
Oh.
that
I don't
game's
think
great.
I've played
Dude,
that one.
I know. I
It's a
recommend it
video
to
game.
everybody. It's fantastic, especially like for D&D and stuff. The music in it is really really good for like combat music.
It's
Oh,
very
really
atmospheric.
good.
Very good.
Um,
Video
kinda
game.
wanna, like, just
Steam.
for the hell of it.
Highly recommended.
Good gravy.
Like this
Oh,
is
and the announcer in that
but it's like intense
narrator.
fights.
Love him.
But as an example, just for fun, just because
Love
It would be nice to
love
have a
this game. It's
soundboard
one of my favorite like fantasy
of
games
that.
of all time, and it's just like kind of like dungeon crawler.
I was
It's
watching.
really-
I was watching a
it's-
video of Burt Black.
It's really got like a personality.
He was
of its
doing
own.
They Are Billions, and it was when he finally beat the first map. And he
The
was
prestigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
well. He was.
That'd be good battle music.
It was. He was talking about. He paused the game. He was talking about. I've got all these resources in my army. He was getting, and it was the one about boasting and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
that quote.
So, yeah,
and
highly recommend
somebody
Awesome.
I use
because
that
he
for my
has it,
D&D
so
campaigns all
somebody
the time.
can
that
have
Final
that
Fantasy
come up.
11 music.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy.
And as soon as it finished playing, he just kind of like, just like,
All right. So you guys make your way down the trail. About another 10, 15 minutes down the trail, you come up as kind of the rise in the hill kind of comes up, and you see kind of a mound in front of you, and what looks like possibly what looks maybe about a 50, 60 feet ahead of you, what could be an entrance to a cave.
oh goody.
And the trail leads kind of right up to it.
Hmm.
You can see coming out of the cave, there is kind of a trickle of a stream coming out of it that kind of goes out. The trail comes kind of from the same place. The river stream goes down this way, and the trail comes down towards you.
Is there any like stream and any kind of water sources nearby that we know of?
Other than the water
Not-
trickling out.
Other than the stuff coming out of the cave, no, you wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
No, for sure. You're not familiar enough with this area to know. At least this local, right where you are.
And he said, wait, coming out of the cave, it was like a stream, you said?
Yeah, it's like 2 feet wide. Really low, easy enough to step across, but you can see it coming.
How does it look for cover? What do you see for cover in terms of like rubble, rocks? Does it seem very open, or does it seem like things could pop out at you from any place?
It's the mouth of this cave, a kill zone.
No more. Here. Try that. So, as you're looking at it, you see the cave, and it's kind of rocky around it, but in front of that, there's a big set of foliage to one side, and then another set of foliage to the other, a little bit larger. Make a perception check. Natural 1. Okay, you don't really notice it, and you're like looking around, and you're like, this is nice.
Does it look
I just
like
start picking my nose.
the
Where are
goblins have been here in this
Navigator.
cave for a while, or is this something like
Where are we?
a recent
Who are you?
occurrence that they moved here?
Make a perception check.
Natural 13 plus 4 is 17.
You can definitely tell there's tracks coming in and out of the cave, even from where you're standing. You're about 50, 60 feet away from the entrance. But as you're looking for the tracks, you notice over to the one side with the bushes over the other side, there's something not quite right about it. And as you look through it, you can just barely see what looks like the outline of what could be a goblin or two. And you guys have come up on this fairly quietly, so if there is a goblin there, they haven't noticed you yet.
From the tracks, can I determine like number? I know I probably wouldn't be able to get like a specific number, but I'm thinking like 10.
Based on what you've been following the trail when you originally followed it, you're guessing there's probably a dozen-ish, but you've gotten a few of them, so you're not 100% certain, but there's definitely more.
I use message to I'm gonna use like actual names to Tetrius. Messages be like hey, because obviously we all want to stay alive here, and in terms of firepower, you got a little bit here. Just let me know where to point the firepower if you see anything funny, because I cannot get this booger out of my nose, man. And I cannot. I have no idea. I just it's the only.
He's
thing I
like
can
turned
focus
around
on
doing
right
this.
As I'm like mind messaging, you're just like I can't see what's in front of me.
And you can respond back as a quick kind of action message. It can't be very long, but you can respond back.
I say it looks like there's some off to, was it the right of the
To
the right of the cave entrance, but there's probably lots more inside.
I ask how many.
Am I involved in this conversation, or am I just sitting there picking my nose?
It's uncertain, but there's probably anywhere between
On the right there.
on the right, maybe one, maybe two.
I look over at Valtar. Valtar, right?
Balthar.
Valfar.
Hmm.
So
DH,
this is kind of where you're at. And you guys are down here-ish.
About how far would you say that is?
And there's kind of the trail that follows the water up into.
I say Valthar, how sneaky are you?
In chainmail? Not.
I say Tetrius, how sneaky are you?
In
chainmail?
You have disadvantage on stealth checks.
Exactly.
You have pretty much you have no one that's stealthy
I'm like,
at all.
I say back, you've heard how loud I am. We're
I mean,
probably
you can still try and sneak up on these goblins. It looks like they're not paying attention much. Like they're supposed to be on watch.
How far?
But they're not. They're about 40 feet, with about 5 feet of bushes in front of them.
I mean, can we shoot them with like a crossbow or something?
They're basically on this map. They're basically hiding in this little
so I'll
pocket
signal
right there.
Howie and
how
Valthar
loud
to
is
come
the
up.
stream? Sorry to interrupt.
Not very loud. It
It's-
might be enough to cover like your tracks if you're being really slow. And
But we wouldn't want
quiet.
to walk through it. You're
Oh,
walking, like
cool.
literally splash it, like walking, even trying
If you
to
stepped in it, you might splash a little
Yeah,
bit. cause
I can
some
try
noise,
shooting
but
them with a crossbow.
through
Well,
the
I
trees.
signal
through the bushes. They're just bushes.
bushes. Yeah.
I signal Valthar and Howie to come up to me because
Okay.
we've kind of reached where we want. So I
We
say,
ultra stealthily roll forward.
yeah, just roll.
like 15
Combat roll. Combat roll.
Yeah.
Valthar just kind of sneaks up quietly.
I say it looks like we've got some goblins off to the right of the cave entrance. There's probably a lot more inside. How do we want to go about getting in there and getting Gundren out?
And just one second, just gonna make a quick text here for tomorrow.
And then you relayed to me that, well, I've got a crossbow. We could shoot him in the face.
Well, at least the ones out here.
I don't know.
So how do you wish to proceed?
We should probably try and ambush these goblins. Hopefully we can get the surprise on them so they don't alert anyone inside.
I go ahead and just like take out my quarterstaff and kind of like half unsheath my dagger. I'm just like, I don't even use message. I just silently nod with the pipe still like, come on.
I mean, can we reach them in time enough for a surprise attack before they can?
It'll probably be difficult to sneak up on them, considering we're both in chainmail, but I think that's our best bet. Go, and then we'll just have to take our luck.
I mean, could we even like toss a rock over by them so they look away from us?
Well, we probably want to
probably
toss a
dexterity.
crossbow bolt into their faces.
I can do that, or try to do that.
I go ahead and kind of send a message like kind of both of you guys like I can make a noise to distract them once we get close. Once we get close.
So let's sneak up behind them.
Should I try shooting him from here after you guys have snuck up a little?
Well, let's get closer, and then we can attack him from there.
Okay.
And what we'll do is you shoot him. You try and get one first, and then I'll run and try and get the other
Or
one.
did he just take off with
And
I
then-
think he just took off with him.
Oh, okay.
And then Howie could try and finish off anything
Give him
that we
two.
don't kill.
Or did he already eat a bunch? Well, he came down earlier and got a couple. You want a couple? Okay, last ones. Okay, so what are you guys doing?
Get up
We're
as
gonna-
close as we possibly feel like we can without alerting them.
Okay.
We're gonna be. I propose that we're on the other side of the bushes from them. Is the other side of that stream from that little alcove there? Is that visible from the front of the cave?
Well, let's
Like right here.
from, well, I'll put it here so you guys can kind of see it. So that's you guys are down over kind of here. If you wanted to sneak up here, you do have to cross the little stream river to get around to here, but you don't notice anything. It looks pretty dark inside. But the two seem to be sitting back here kind of with their backs to you, like they're not paying attention. Not on. They're supposed to be on watch, but they're not.
If we take them by surprise.
How close are they to each other?
Within 5 feet of each other. They're sitting right next to each other. And that's why you can kind of see their outlines, the long ears.
So I get kind of towards the edge of kind of that little bit of brush, like trying to stay low, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of
Across
just
the
like,
river?
just for a second. Oh yeah, that's right, because we're on the other side of the river,
Yeah,
right?
you're over
So,
here.
yeah, that's right. So we have to cross the river to
So-
get over there.
I say
it's-
we
it's-
get up here, and then Valathar starts the attack, and then I charge in, try and take off, and hopefully we'll be able to get both of them by that.
We could try that. I guess we'll make a surprise as well.
Yeah.
Like on the other side, make a little sound effect on the other side to get them to turn their heads.
And each one of those squares is
Well, they
5
already
feet,
got-
so it's not terribly...
Yeah, they already got their back to us.
So, yeah, so we'll get around like here, and you always said the backs are to us, so they're facing.
Yeah,
okay.
their backs are to here. They're kind of sitting right here, facing that way. If you shoot through the bushes, they're kind of briar bushes, thorny bushes. If you shoot through, they basically have half cover. It just adds 2 to their AC.
Yeah, we should definitely run over there.
But you could...
Or
I
we
mean,
could
you all
just
have
jump
range,
through.
You all have range stuff you could try and...
That's why I was wondering how close they were to each other. I mean, is there such thing as like a cleaving strike?
Well, like
Fighters
with
have that.
with what he does, he can with the thing you can
War
do as a
priest.
bonus action. So he can hit and then as a bonus action kind of swing through and make a second attack if he wanted to.
And then I think certain fighting styles of fighter allow you to
Yeah.
cleave, but
Yep.
I don't know if you have that.
Not yet, because I don't have any styles yet.
And I think it depends on what archetype you take too.
Oh, that's what I meant. I don't
All right.
have an archetype.
Or we could
Okay.
just both charge through the bush and take him out.
I just kind of like send another message to say like, yeah, let's kick some butt. Just no yelling.
Just no yelling.
Okay.
But I'm really good at
just
yelling.
for the sake, just so I can see, because you're sneaking up, I do need you to make a stealth check.
My
Just to see.
God, I can't roll anything.
And that's dexterity mod?
Oh, I trip over myself.
So I'm at disadvantage. So
Oh yeah,
Give me
that's
your
right.
Stealth, yeah.
I'm at disadvantage too.
Well, we at least we're within combat range.
So, do I stealth?
You're not
Okay.
pushing at your dex.
Yeah. So I rolled a 7.
7.
I physically rolled a 4. So
Your dex.
All right.
my dex is
like-
2, so 6.
Is everybody ready? And we all draw our weapons, and then we all immediately like trip at the same time and forget what we're doing and start yelling and shouting.
And you guys are preparing your... I gotta do a perception check here. See if I can... Roll a natural 1. So, you guys go and... As you're kind of...
They're
the
drunk.
3 of you walking together, like, side by side, kind of Wizard of Oz, kind of walking up. All three of you at the same time kind of step on a stick together. Like there's a stick in the thing, and you
Like
all
one
three step
long stick, and we all step on the stick at the
You're all
same
like-
time.
and all of you kind of look at each other like, did they see us? Doesn't seem to see anything, but you're close. You're close enough now. You could make an attack on them if you wanted with your ranged weapons. Now, if you wanted to just run at them and just surprise them, you could do that. They don't seem to notice you yet. You could make a surprise attack, a surprise round on them.
I say we charge him.
I say we charge him.
Just charge in.
Okay.
Left or right?
I'll take the right one,
I'll go to the left.
and then
Okay.
So how does surprise work?
we're just at the top of the initiative, and we get a
You
surprise
just
round.
you basically have there's one round where they don't get to go,
Oh, okay. And then so we go,
And then
and
there's-
then we roll initiative.
and then you'll roll initiative
Okay.
and see how they react and
If there's
go from
anything
there,
left.
Okay.
I'll follow. I'm going to be behind you guys, basically, like following up with how
so you guys kind
do.
of just immediately go and you jump over the river and go around the corner and just.
I was
make your-
gonna just charge
make your
through the
attacks.
bush. Just
Just like fly through the bush.
is it too
Just
thick
like
for me
jump-
to do
how
that?
big are the
They're
squares?
briars.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So-
You go around.
I guess
They're
I'll just-
5-6 feet thick.
Okay. I'll just go through around
I
the
can
corner.
jump
gonna-
over that.
Well, it's 6 feet thick, but not how high. Can you jump up and then over
I don't
5
know.
feet?
Can I? How does that
Jumping,
work?
Jumping. Let's see. I've got it on here.
Because I wouldn't mind jumping up and having my attack coming down
Yeah.
on them.
Let's see. Long jump we talked about.
Yeah, jumping
High
across.
jump.
What happens when you add both? I mean, we're pretty strong if it's based off of our strength.
Yeah.
So, based on this, because what's your strength modifier?
Modifier plus 3. My strength attribute is 17.
So basically, what they call high jump is basically your vertical jump is 6 feet. So it's 3 plus your strength modifier is how many feet vertically you can jump. Like a standing with kind of a 5 foot kind of run jump, high jump.
Yeah, which we
You
would
get
be
about
trying
6
to do.
foot up. The thing is, for every foot you want to go this way, costs you a foot this way. So you'd kind of end up in the middle of the bushes. You
Let's
don't
just
quite-
round the
you
corner.
don't quite have enough. You just yeah, because they're about 5 feet high, so it would
All right.
So go ahead and make your attack.
Oh,
11 plus 1 plus strength modifier?
Easy
I
enough.
forget.
Their AC is 12, so
Okay.
as long as you beat a 12.
I rolled a 4.
So just for the sake of it, typically with any roll, right, the core of any roll is that D20 plus whatever it is, the modifier for that stat. So a strength check, right? So it would be that plus 3. And with this attack,
With
are you
the
proficient with it? Do you
proficiency
use it all the time? Is it one of
Yeah.
those things that you use all the time? Then you add your
And what you'll do,
D4.
whenever you're making an attack, basically, as long as you're using one of your weapons that you're proficient, when you roll your D20, roll your D4 with it.
Okay.
Just roll
Yeah,
it the
that's
same.
right.
exactly.
That's
Just
right.
roll
Add
them
it together, and then you just add your,
Okay.
depending on the weapon, so like your crossbow is a
4.
dexterity thing, anything else is usually a strength. And even
Right.
like your great sword is a strength.
Now, I mean, I'm proficient with martial weapons. That means I'm proficient with the crossbow.
Uh-huh.
Even though it's a dexterity roll, I don't.
Yeah, you're still proficient.
So I
So
get
you
the
add your
dexterity bonus.
Yeah, you add your dexterity bonus to
And
your 2 dice roll.
Proficiency.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, that was
So-
my great sword.
So good enough. Yep. So roll your damage. Your 2d6 plus
So 11. Yeah, 11.
Okay, easy enough. What are you doing during this?
I'm
Right.
ready to make either a final strike on either one of them. As I'm running up and ready to strike, because I'm assuming they're pretty close together.
Mhm.
I'm basically waiting to see because I'm going to strike after them two. So if like that one's probably dead, I'm just gonna give it a swap
Okay.
with the.
So as you guys go running up, you each take one. The one as you come around kind of looks up and just kind of ducks out of the way of your warhammer swing. The other one looking up just totally doesn't see the greatsword coming and just you cleave right down through his chest and he just falls back into the briars.
Can I use my
So
war priest?
the other one has not been hit. So if you wanted to go to that one, you could make an attack roll.
Can I use my war priest ability to come back around for another attack as a bonus action?
Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh my
Level one
gosh.
for a guy.
Natural one.
Yeah, natural 1. Great.
I'm gonna be like, I'll
so
I'll
as
show
you
you
take
how
your
it's
war,
done.
with your warhammer, as you swing
Huh.
it down,
I haven't been
down
doing
through, you kind of lose a little bit of grip. It doesn't go out of your hand, but you've totally lost the swing for that back swing.
I
So
forgot
if
that.
you want, what are you attacking?
I forgot that if
With
I roll a
a-
1 or 2 on my damage die, I
can't
can
roll
reroll.
anything.
Oh,
Not that it
6.
Do
matters.
you want to
No,
borrow
I
some
can't.
other dice? They're
I
not
keep
cursed.
changing different dice. I've rolled like 5 different d20s so far. I keep changing them. It's like none of them want to
Here,
help
use
me out.
Use Mercer's D20.
Alright, cool.
That
Alright,
one
we'll
tends
try-
to
we'll
roll
try
pretty
Mercer.
good for me.
Anyway. Yeah, I
never
mean, it's
do
going to be
that.
like an 8 total, so then I miss.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
this is how it's done, and I
So-
whiff it.
this
Now-
is how it's done.
Now I need you guys to roll initiative for this one last goblin that's there.
Mm.
Nice.
9.
15.
15? Okay.
9.
9.
Okay. So the goblin gets to react first because he rolled a natural 18 for his initiative roll.
I ruined it.
So he, being surprised, he just kind of reaches, pulls for his sword, and since you're standing right in front of him, he's going to take a swing at you.
Nope. I'm too powerful.
Natural 19.
Oh,
You're still
gosh.
off your footing from before, so he takes a swipe right near your thigh. Because he's sitting down, he just takes a swing at you. So it's a 1d. You take 4 points of damage as he kind of slices into your thigh between two of your kind of just below your chainmail
Oh.
on your leg, and just slices into it. Okay. Who had the next? It was you. Who had the next task?
I'm going to give it another smack in the face. And I
that's
don't,
cocked.
I don't
That's
hit.
cocked. Roll again.
Better.
10 plus.
It's 12. Oh, but that's right. Yeah, it's proficiency. That's right. I didn't roll my.
Yeah, plus proficiency. 3.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
easy
15.
enough. You hit. So roll damage. For which? What are you
It's
using?
a
Your-
quarter staff, so that plus
quarterstaff.
2.
Are you using it two-handed or one-handed?
Two-handed technically.
Then it's a 1d8.
Oh, cool.
'Cause you use a
Versatile.
It's a versatile weapon. So if you use two hands, it's a 1d8 plus your strength modifier.
Strength. I thought you said you wanted to do dex.
Quarterstaffs are actually strength. I looked it up.
Yeah, no, because I did too, and that's what I was like, oh, if Jordan's gonna do dex, that's cool. That works for me. But okay, we're doing strength. Okay, so 2 damage.
Okay. So you take your quarterstaff and just
Oh!
right over the head. And you just, whoever wants to go
It hurt my
first.
arms to
Want
swing
to
that.
redeem yourself?
Yeah,
guys-
let me at least try to redeem myself. 15.
That's good enough. Roll damage.
8 plus, or that would be 7.
So, okay, so you being off balance, you kind of take your warhammer and you're like, you see him just kind of whack the goblin over the head. Take your warhammer back and just whack right over the top, like you ring his bell,
That's what.
and it just
Should have
you
happened
hear this,
first
you
time.
hear this kind of gross sound of this as
Dang.
you see the top of his head just
Oh.
cave in, and he just kind of his eyes just kind of cross and then roll back. He rolls right back next to the other goblin.
I was
As
hoping,
Balthar immediately starts looting his body.
There's nothing on these guys other than their 2 short swords that they had.
I was
and
hoping that
there's-
he'd be
and
like
there's-
barely alive,
they
and I
also
just
have-
look over and backhand
There
him in
is
the
some
face.
just some short bows, but they are crap. They're goblin short bows that wouldn't be worth anything to a person. They're functional.
No
but
one would want them.
No one would want them. Goblins use them because they're functional. Did my computer run out of power? No, it didn't.
Yeah, I was hoping
Okay,
that he'd be
so
like
you're
barely
now
alive,
kinda
and
back
I
in
just
that thicket, and
backhand him
there's
in the face.
Now, if you guys want to stop here, it is 8:30, and we can continue with kind of the cave next time.
I'm cool with that.
Or because there is still a bit moving forward from here, so we can kind of pause here.
All right, yeah.